Yeah, yeah. Woke up this morning, checked the news feed on my phone. The capital's locked down, everyone's gone home. The lights are off, the flags are drooping. Nobody's at the switch, cause the American government is broke. Ain't that a hit? They're pointing fingers, having a cry like it's a soap opera scene. Said we'll be back when we find the couch cushions in the loose 18. Oh, America's broke, can't afford a single nail. Don't you worry, honey, we got a big old tariff bill. It's brimming with cash, it's overflowing, shiny and brand new. So put the flags back up, don't you fret, everything is okay, it's true.
Except for all the things that aren't, but let's not dwell on those.
Yeah, yeah. Now spare a thought for Heidi, a patriot from afar, an American expat living by a foreign star. She tried to call the embassy just to check her visa date, but the recording said we're closed for now due to our monetary fate. She cried, I'm a citizen, I need to come back home. But the computer chirped, no country, no entry, you'll have to keep on roam. Oh, America is broke, can't afford a single nail. But don't you worry, honey, we got a big old tariff bill. It's brimming with cash, it's overflowing, shiny and brand new. So put the flags back up, don't you fret, everything is okay, it's true. But don't you weep for Heidi, don't send her a rescue boat. She's got her toes in the sand, wearing shorts and a tank top float. The sun is shining bright, the mangoes are cheap and sweet. She's perfectly safe in the Philippines, got a comfy place to sleep. She just sent a postcard to Red Deer, DC. I'm having a blast, I'll check on the most powerful nation when this whole silly thing is bad, 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 bad. Oh, America is broke, can't afford a single nail. Don't you worry, honey, we got a big old tariff bill. It's brimming with cash, it's overflowing, shiny and brand new. So put the flags back up, don't you fret, all is okay, all is okay. It's America is broke, yeah, America is broke. Hey, yeah, America is broke. Clang, clang, but we're fine. Wink, wink, wink.
Just keep sending those tariffs, everything will be just great.
Good morning, guys. Magadan, Magadan, Magadan. Oh, Hapo, Papo, all that good stuff. Good morning, guys. Can you see my tree now? Hey, my girl's in the house. Sarah, good morning. Good evening. Oh, okay, so here I am already itching. Okay, must just be a on-air situation. ICK Dallas is in the house. MB is always in the house. Harry Walsh is here. Say hi to Pops. I know you can't see him. There's my black son right there. It's kind of like there he is. When I kind of lose George in the dark. Here we go. There he is. Okay. So okay, guys. It is almost 8 in the morning in the Philippines. And I'm really out of ideals for subjects. I don't go on other channels looking for content and trying to figure things out or copying or anything else, unless it's like a real super big subject. And everybody has been covering directly like the Cebu earthquake and all these things, which are very important. Okay, I'm not discounting that. But then yesterday there was another one. Where's my phone? Right here. Okay. And there was another one in Davao, reached all the way out to Siargao, and people could feel this. And the sad part is these earthquakes are hitting everywhere. Made a post yesterday. Let me read from it because I had some facts. You guys give me a minute on some of the things that we had. Everybody talk amongst themselves. And it was pretty wild. So had made a post there showing the body bags and everything. And basically it's been a shaky October in the Philippines. The country was struck by 3 strong earthquakes on 3 major islands. Okay, in just 10 days. Okay, coincidence, the earthquake today was island of Mindanao, happened around 10 in the morning on 10/10 for October 10th. Okay. And this is 10 days after the deadly earthquake also which there have been 10,000 aftershocks, all tens. Okay, so I've been seeing the numbers everywhere. So we were kind of looking at all the numbers, and also there was something we talked about along the line. There's supposed to be one giant earthquake. I mentioned it um, one of the last few live streams. They believe it's going to run through Manila or something, and they're saying it's that time. It's been a few hundred years. Now the scientists are saying they believe that it's just going to be a bunch of ones like we're seeing now. They're just going to start hitting everywhere in all the islands, and that it's just going to cause one big mess. Let's pray. It's kind of crazy. We've been reposting videos on Facebook of sad events of people losing multi children, spouses. As a matter of fact, what brought up today's subject, George is currently not here. He's out and about. He might make it back later. So I want to let you guys know that. But he usually goes out and does something with his uncle on Saturdays. So he goes over there and helps and everything. So Saturdays are almost a no for George. But before he left, there was an article that I was reading this morning where, let's see. Okay, that was something I'm looking at MSNBC. There was a family, I believe, there it is, Davao del Norte, a couple exchange vows. People are getting married despite just having the earthquake. So people, of course, they're going to continue to get married. Let's see. I'm trying to look for, they probably already removed it. But what it was is a family of 12 tried to unalive themselves. Like they're so done with stuff and so upset. There wasn't a whole lot in it except for they found that they were trying to self-harm themselves. And somebody contacted the barangay and everything. And honestly, I can see that. It is one natural disaster after another here. I couldn't imagine trying to rebuild every time. Now I see why people don't invest in expensive furniture. They don't stockpile like us expats. I mean, I don't really stockpile, but like the US, we always have at least 2 weeks worth of food, and then we have that amount of water, and we always get two of everything. And yeah, you get wiped out. That's it. You know, your excess stock is gone and everything. So um it was pretty crazy to hear that, but I understand why people actually get upset like that. So today's warning to all expats, being a hot mess disaster area, is we're going to talk about mental health of expats, especially here. I just heard another expat leave, and really, it's the same complaints. It's hot here, it's loud here, I got scammed here, I can't deal here. And believe me, I know that. I probably about every 4 or 5 days, it's like, oh, it's loud, it's this. You're either going to be able to stay or not. We're going to talk about the typhoons, the earthquakes, the rain, the mudslides, the weather, whether you can get with the toxic expats. All of this are disasters in the Philippines, and it's probably what is going to run you out. So that's the main topic. Stick around because it's probably at least a 2-hour live stream. If you guys aren't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. We're on our way up on numbers. And just check to make sure that you are, and turn on notifications because there's been a bunch of updates, glitches, and everything else going on. And that's about it. I kind of feel weird. I probably should have left the light on. How's the low light? Does it make those who are in the United States and other places that are dark, is it kind of weird? I know there were some creepy vloggers that used to vlog partially in the dark, but I guess it's maybe due to some of my light sensitivity, or tried something different. But I'll tell you what, on that damn tree I loaded down. Can you? Okay, so this is one of those 3-foot trees, right? My little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. There's like, I think the strand. So there's 100 lights on the little one, and it's got the original lights on it, and really, probably 25 lights would have been good, and then it got streamed up on the shelf. Let's see. You can't see. I put more of them up on the shelf. You see my water down there. BB, I can hear you. You can see the tablet in the shot. I read from the tablet too, guys. BB is still sick. She's sneezing. She's on antibiotics officially. We had the vet come over. She's got like an upper respiratory, so I call him Jelly Bean officially, but it's Geo. His nickname is Jelly Bean. He was originally sick when he came in here. I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months. He caught something from outside, but he got over it, and they've all went through a stage of getting sick, and everybody was fine. And then all of a sudden, Bella starts sneezing, one nostril closed. So I'm up at 3 in the morning yesterday doing a steam like sauna thing with her in the bathroom and wiping her face with a hot washcloth, trying to unclog her nose and everything. And she just keeps sneezing. But what it is, she keeps lifting her head up, trying to clear her nostril, and there's no way to actually do it. So, but I think I need more caffeine. And I got to stop touching the table. See, weirdly, the table is continuing to move. Okay, just felt like I needed to do that. Don't mind me, I'm OCD. Don't mind me, I'm a psycho. Don't mind me, I am ADHD. Don't mind me, I'm in the Philippines. Yeah. MB, good morning, good morning, good morning. Raymond, good morning. And of course, Kay Dallas is in the house. Now, that was another thing. I started having another problem with Lazada, which is the delivery people. So we didn't get our packages the first day. The next day, he claimed he made 2 attempts. And then late at night, he was like, oh, I came in on my day off to straighten up that I couldn't get access to my app. But I'll deliver the next day. But they send a weird, strange message from him direct, not Lazada, saying that, how'd they put it exactly? Oh, we've made 3 attempts to deliver your package. You need 2. And it was from the driver. He typed that out himself. And I'm like, dude, you haven't been here at all. We've been here for 3 days straight. Even George was here and didn't go anywhere. And I'm like, we've been in the house except for the bank. We did go to the bank. I said, but that was like 10, 11 in the afternoon. You said you came at 8:30 to deliver. But anyways, finally got the packages, and they all arrived at once. So it was 15 different things. So whether it was, cat treats, cat meds, it was things like spices. I ordered some yeast because we were going to make a pizza, and like just all these little things because they were individually ordered the last week and a half. And there I am. He's outside counting. Then he lost a package. Then he found a tiny package. Took like 30 minutes to get through all that, and then 30 minutes to open it up. And then and then air filters. They sent the wrong air filters. So that's supposed to go for the HEPA filters we have in the house. People ask how we deal with the cat hair and stuff. It's like, well, mostly they stay upstairs. We mop, we sweep, we vacuum. And we have 2 HEPA filters in the house that goes through and cleans. And no, they sent the wrong ones, and they had no protection. They were just in a plastic bag. So they were totally crushed and the wrong size. So we got to start all over with that. Hey, Dallas. Hey, Harry Walsh. Hello, George and Heidi. If you're still alive, fantastic. Yes, of course, you were here. What was it? Just 2 days ago. Yeah, he does really good. Like, I was surprised. We were up at like 3:34 in the morning the other day, and I was like, we might as well go super early and go live. And he was like, yeah. And here's the thing. I was really happy. George was like alive. I mean, he was like so full of energy. He started taking B12. Here's the thing. George stays up at weird hours. He always has. We've been together close to 7 years, and he's always had weird hours because of the owning his own company back in the US and always dealing with business and stuff. But he's a gamer. And so he falls asleep with gaming and everything. Turns out that he's been taking multivitamin B, the B complexes. And I'm like, George, that's like almost pure energy. It's like, it's meant to give you like a boost and everything. I said, no wonder you've been up. Like lately, it's been up a lot. I was like, you got to. So he took it in the morning, and then he was like boing. I was like, there's your boing medicine. So it was crazy. Yes, she kept the opening. Of course, Sarah's in the house. But yeah, now he's on B12. I was like, now that's what I'm talking about, George. He was like, "Pzah." He's like, whoosh. Clifford, I get to say good morning for a change. Good morning. Yes. How are you, Clifford? Yeah, I like that song. Our songs are sung by AI. We tell them the type of voice, the way we want it. We have two different programs that do the music, but we tell them the instruments, the style. We never allow the auto to go through and just create the song. We actually do say, okay, we want the drums, we want a bunch of, snare, I guess they call it snare drumming. And then we tell it, we want keyboards, we want this 80s style in it. We want it to have jazz like, voice. And so we do command it what to do and we write the songs. Now, some of them, like the other one, was part of Sympathy with the Devil. Like some of the words were because I wanted it along that lines, but we still wrote it. So we still added in. So we really like to do it. We like to sit down and do it. It's probably time. We run them for a while, and our channel has been marked as it went through YouTube, and the songs are sold on like Spotify and everything. And basically, we put the videos that we make on. It doesn't get a lot of views. I think we've only sold like 3 songs total in a few months because nobody's going to buy the music. Everybody's doing AI, everybody's selling AI music, and everybody, the music industry was flooded, 10 years ago. Now everybody is, but we're doing it because we like to, just like the YouTube. It's just where it is. Hey, what's going on? Bear in the Philippines. Good morning. Good morning from General Santos. Good morning. Good morning, Heidi and George. It's 7 p.m. Lori is in the house. Hey, hey. Yeah, so many here in a short time. Hey, Slick Rick is in the house. Good morning from California. I think there was something else going on. I was up like 4 a.m. Anybody else going through that? Like, especially once you get to the Philippines and you're fully retired, which I've been fully retired and disabled for 10 plus years. And so George wasn't. There's still an adjustment with George. He still hasn't found his, like what he's doing. Like, I think when you've been seeing him less here, I think George has found now, like, he likes to spend time with his granddaughter. He likes to spend time with his uncle and family, and then he's been going out with friends and everything. And so he's starting to, but at first it's like he always just used to hang out here. He would do them walkabouts and show you guys videos. He'd go out on the e-trike, and we do go out and go do different things because one of the viewers, one of our regulars, we just got a message, and George was like, someone said they were glad to see us out on the e-trike and not sitting on the couch, but we were like, it's a regular. Lou should know. His name's Lou. Louis Lou. And I'm like, good morning, Lou. And I'm like, that's what we do. We do live streams. We stop carrying a camera around. Every now and then we will drop one. And it's because everybody's carrying a camera. And we just got to the point that it's just somewhat overrated, but our core people like to see us do stuff. So that's why we do it. Sometimes it gets 300-400 views. Sometimes it gets a couple thousand views. And it's because it's our personal people that watch. And so it's like, we've been doing live streams for years, and we dropped some of the pet stuff. Like, I carried a camera around throughout the day and did small clips in the house and then put it together. It's on our members only. And it's what we do. But George is finding his way. I know we'll start talking about mental health. He has been going through depression. He said that, so I'm not telling you anything he didn't say. Mental health is going to be a big issue. Most people have mental health issues. I'm sorry, I can call out just about anybody. Some may be temporary, some may be on a regular basis, whether it was from the military, whether it was a tragedy. Most of us are anywhere between 40 and 70 that are watching this channel. And so, because of this, we've all been through some sort of trauma. I have multi medical conditions that cause me issues, okay? Most of it is ADHD. I have high anxiety. The Philippines did not help that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I'm already a home person. It's not for everybody. I do my cooking and cleaning, and because of mine, I tend to stay at home. So I like being at home. It's what I would do in the United States. And so I go out, don't get me wrong, but mental health issues is what I would say 8 out of 10 people are bringing here, and they're in denial if they don't have them and they're getting here and that they're not going to pop off. Like, different things are going to, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 situation. Too loud, somebody cuts you off in traffic, somebody cuts you off in a line at the grocery store. Filipinas and Filipinos can be extremely loud. I'm talking about extremely loud. I don't know what it is. They're always grabbing, hitting in your personal space. That's the best thing that I can say is they're in your personal space. And as a matter of fact, just recently there was a tour where it was all different types of Asians from different countries, and they actually had a problem with the Filipinos. They actually, on the airplane, they were so loud on the airplane, they got a complaint from the airline, and it got back to the actual tour group, and they had to tell them that they had to pipe it down. And I think it's because they're having such a good time. I don't think that's something like in them, or they don't, like I said, the self awareness, because I notice like here at all different hours, it doesn't matter. They slam things, they speak out loud. At 5 a.m., they were out here at the top of their voice, like yelling over each other in the neighborhood. Their kids are out by 6 a.m. And so maybe it's a self awareness thing, which, hey, we all have an issue with that, even the Americans or other people from the other countries. But in general, mental health is going to be a big disaster here because they don't have the facilities. You're not going to get the medications. There was one big YouTuber that couldn't get her medications, and 3 others that admitted they were on medication and had to take a break. YouTube is just going to add to their issues because they're always recording. They're always out doing things and everything. And so a lot of it just seems like a job to them. So it is what it is. It's one of the biggest things that I think is a disaster here is people bringing their mentality here and their mental health issues, and they don't have any way to get their medicine. There's a lot of military here that are on disability, YouTubers that are getting it for mental health issues. I'd like to call out their names, but I won't. You all know who they are. It actually shows. But they're here on getting their disability checks, going on about how great their life is and how they can afford everything. It's because they're on a disability check from the military. But in saying that, these medications are not readily available. You can go to certain clinics at some of the bigger hospitals and everything. Let's say they prescribe you what you need. Good luck in finding it most of the time, especially once you leave the bigger cities and everything. So, and I don't know if I'd want to be on any of those medicines here in the Philippines. But mental health is going to be a major issue. And I don't think there's anybody here that's not going to disagree that there's a lot of expats here that are off their rocker. Hey, is Chosen One in the house yet? I'm just joking. Chosen one's just out there like me. And then you're going to have to compensate on mental health. Like, you're going to have to stay away from this if that causes you a problem. You're going to have to adjust where you live if you can't deal with the noise. Like me, I've just had to find ways to get around things or just stay out of it. Kind of like the kids setting the fire last year out in the lot across the way. I asked George to go out there and talk to him because if I do, I'm going to cuss him out. I was like, get out of that lot. What are you guys doing in there? Like there was a bunch of kids trying, they were setting things on fire. They were like 10, 11 years old, and they were in the parking lot across the street where there's all this grass and trash and everything. And George's like, not my problem. I said, yeah, but I'm asking you, the car. The car is right there within about 20 feet. I said, you have to go talk to them. I was like, and you definitely don't want me going out there. I ain't just going to have any tact out there, like kick them, you know, but, or I'll hose them down. But yeah, there was smoke coming up and everything else. But this stuff, you just pretty much, unless they're physically harming you, I always tell people at this point, or unless you really need to save them, then I just learned to stay out of things. Just like most Filipinos, unless they're fighting each other over something, mostly boyfriend and girlfriend, you just leave them alone and stuff. But one topic, I have my evacuation plan in place. Let's see, every time, like all morning, I was sitting here and nothing. Now it feels like I've got cat hair and dust and everything else. I've not blown my nose. It just feels itchy and dry. Yeah, you can see it's red. Now, I was sneezing myself. Maybe I've got some sort of allergies. Every time I go out, I don't know about anybody else. Every time I go out and about, I was out yesterday. I go outside every day, at least twice a day, but we were out again besides the e-trike. And every time I go out and with the traffic and everything, it just seems like I get like a hay fever. And I'm sure other people that are coming here are dealing with that. Like people tell me it feels like I've got a cold. It feels like I've got a fever. And they talk about, of course, their eyes, their nose, their skin itches. And so, especially as sensitive as I am with my lupus, it's a definite. So, sorry. I have my evacuation plan in case this happens. I got a go backpack by the door. And that is a good ideal, Raymond, because we have a to go bag. George and me keep talking about we need to interchange the stuff, but we go through it about once a month. It's on wheels. I don't know what we'll do if the ground's all broke up, but it's basically a little suitcase. But I have a backpack. Currently, I used to take my passport, my ACR, my permanent residency card out of there, and but I just leave it in there now because although George has got us the best place on earth, okay, the neighborhood sometimes isn't the best because of stuff that happens, but it's a safe neighborhood. Like so far, nobody's taken anything. It may not be the prettiest, but we don't flood at all. Not even it doesn't even go up a quarter of an inch. So we have no flooding issues. Never, never, nothing. And in the other area that we used to live in, because this will be our fourth Christmas at this location. We lived about a year in the other place. What the hell? I just heard it again. That is weird. Let me know if you guys hear that. Okay, here's the deal. I keep hearing a squeak, like it sounds like a baby mouse, which, why would I be surprised that there is a mouse living in the deep freezer? But I keep hearing a squeak. Yesterday I heard it too, and even the cats went over there. But it sounds like, I don't know how he would have got in there. Maybe it's just the deep freezer making it. It's not even a year old on the deep freezer. There's like a box on the side where you could see like the electrical wiring. Maybe a baby mouse got in there or something, but it just did. It just went squeak, 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 squeak. You know how like you can hear the small mice making the noise. Okay, so anyways, so we don't even have the flooding or nothing. The other place I got lost in concentration. We did have that small earthquake where we actually, I think it was a 4 point something, and I was showing on air. We reposted it. It's in the post, and like you could see us moving, not like here, like what's been going on. There it is again. That is weird. That's got to be a mouse. Again, no surprise. But with all these cats, you lazy bitches. All these cats and one dog, and something's in here squeaky. And why wouldn't I be surprised? Huh, that is so weird. It actually almost sounds like a bird, a baby bird, because it's like squeak, Chirp. It's almost like a squeak and a chirp at the same time. It might be something on the deep freezer. Okay, so um, natural disasters, they feel it's going to be a big one coming. And I do feel Angeles City, Mabalacat City, something's going to happen within the year. If it is true what they're saying, then every area is going to get affected. And they even gave a list. It was on Facebook of what they think is going to happen. Then I seen it on TikTok because we go through TikTok, Instagram, and we check out our accounts every day. And I think it will. See, here's my, when we left the United States, the pandemic was going on and things were getting dark then. And we were burning through money. The business was going in half because it was hard to keep employees. Nobody was hiring essential jobs like that George was actually doing. And so both we were having a problem. Still, the money was coming in, but I'm like, you know what? It's time to retire. Let's take when we have a better amount of savings because as of right now, we probably would have folded and went through our savings because a lot of small businesses did during the pandemic. So the money we took to go come here and the little bit amount we have in the bank, it'd all be gone. And so we would just be sitting there and he would just be working, still full time doing something else. So when we actually came here, it was it was essential that we actually came here. But we knew that there was going to be like issues when we actually got here. And I felt that it was a better decision to come here. I knew something was pushing me. Hate to say it now with all the political stuff and all the craziness that's going on with immigration and everything in the US. Um, I'm sorry. I still feel 100% that being here for that purpose, George being with his family, he really wanted to reunite with them. That now on top of it, I'm like, oh crap, but here we are. We're about ready to hit an earthquake. Did God and something else bring me here to really punish me or something, and put me right in the middle of an earthquake? No, I tend to believe that it was the better thing to come here and that it was a God's will to bring me here for that purpose. And whatever comes along with it is going to happen. And I can only pray that what they're saying is going to happen doesn't. But the Philippines seems to suffer such craziness. Actually, everywhere does. I think all countries are starting to go through really hard times, and whether it's the end of days or whatever actually is going on. But we're in as good a spot as any. We're basically a few miles from where Clark military base was. We're a few miles from the airport and we're in a really good zone period. And then the building, of course, we're in is concrete, built really well. And yeah, you have to have that to go bag. And we've got it. We've even got a little tote. I don't know how far I'm going to carry it. Okay, I didn't last 3 minutes on the treadmill again yesterday. So I got on it like at 3 something yesterday after doing stuff for the entire day. So it's feeding the animals several times. It's doing their water bowls. It's, doing the things like straightening up the house, cooking, cleaning. And then I have like nothing left because of the lupus. I get on the treadmill and I'm like, oh man. And then my hip starts hurting and my leg starts hurting and my knees. And then I'm like, boom, that's it. But hey, I gave it a good old college try. And I'm like, so like, I don't know how I'm going to carry this bucket of stuff if something happens, but it's got like little flares, like for light and everything. It's got some glow sticks in it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but we got like some coffee and some sugar in there. What else do we have in there? I'm wondering if this has got something on it that's irritating me. I didn't blow my nose with it, guys. I've just been wiping the outside of it. So Heidi's wiping her burgers all over it. Here, let me get George's over. But I will get a clean one. Yeah, I didn't blow my nose. I just wiped the outside. No, it just feels like, which means I've got Benadryl. I'm not going to take Benadryl for this. I just feel like all of a sudden something's itching my face. Sorry, guys. Real life. So yeah, it's got like sugar cubes in it. I told George minimally if we don't have any food, we could suck on the little. They're like the little chunks of sugar or something. There's a couple bottles of water. There's a bag of peanuts in there. I was like, I figured that. I'm looking at it now. It's got some band-aids, some super glue, some scissors. It's got a pocket knife in there. So it's got this is separate than our to-go bag that has at least one set of clothes. George put some Tang in there, like the instant orange Tang. And so we got like different things, like a week's worth of medicine in there, which honestly we probably should put some more in there. But it is a good idea. As a matter of fact, yes, the backpack that has all of the IDs and everything is right here. So everything is right here in the area that if something happens, you go. My concern is, has anybody heard that in an earthquake now I thought somebody said you don't run outside. It was actually listed and I'm like, I thought you're supposed to leave the building. Everybody does here. Now, when I looked up AI or went through there, and of course AI will put out the answer, he said I'm supposed to stand in the doorway, like, and because they're the strongest usually as far as the structure of the house, or you're supposed to go in a. I guess it's because of the way it's carved out and got all the, but I don't know. But let me know on that if we're supposed to go outside or. Hope people are safe. So sad. Folks had it hard enough, yes, without the earthquakes. Yeah, life is just hard here to begin with. Let alone, you know, the damage. And I told George, I said, are they supposed to be having a mass funeral? Is that just everybody in one town that know each other? Or is it because they're digging up the ground? And they did. They just had one big hole that they were setting the bodies in. Like they were in coffins and everything, but they had like the funeral and the priests were all there. It was just crazy. People really don't know. Yeah, it's kind of out there. Hey, Rob Sullivan is in the house. Hey, Chippy. Sean is in the house. Hey, Carl. What is going on? We still have Halloween decor up. Can't even think about Christmas yet. Oh, yeah, not in the Philippines. It started last month. So me putting this up in October is actually nice and stuff. So yeah, most definitely. I don't know why it looks like it's leaning too, doesn't it? Okay, understand that the this is on the opposite thing, but it's not. Maybe it's the camera. I think it's the angle the camera's at. Heidi, you look like a medium. Uh yeah, me and the cats. I don't know who's giving each other allergies. I don't know if I'm making the cats sick or the cats are making me sick, or because they're really not like they're here, but they've got like a cat room. So they look out the window. So they got what we call cat TV, or George calls it cat TV. And they come down here, but it's not like they hang on me, but it just seems like every time you guys have seen me, every time I do the live, it's like I get all itchy and yeah, it's different. It's a little different to do and it's nice on the eyes, man. I can't handle bright lights. Hey, Rob. I feel so bad for the folks because I have a good life compared to most of these people. I have a 17,000 square foot barn and I have a small living quarter in a barn. Okay. What are you doing in a barn? Just saying how many people I could house in my barn that would at least keep people dry. Yeah, most definitely because they've been showing how people because of the aftershock, they've been outside. And those that had houses, like you'll see them up on the main street. Like if you're in the United States, you would see where their house is. But being they live so much further in what I call the wooded area or further out, they're just all up on the street with tents now. And they're out there and people toss them stuff. Now, what was it I seen the other day? There are people taking advantage of what's going on too. That's another thing that I've been sad about. Um, like when the earthquake happened in Cebu, because now they're all going to start blending because there are so many. And one that's going to cause them to discount the last one. In other words, the next people need help. Whatever help was going to the first one, they'll start doing to the second. But it showed people at grocery stores when this happened both times. People are taking stuff and running out the door. And we're not talking about one, we're talking a lot of people. I was highly disappointed. I mean, I've done some criminal shit in my life. I ain't gonna lie about that shit. But to sit there in a natural disaster and then just take off with the stuff that you have in the Philippines, especially being these businesses, most of them are barely getting by. We're not even talking about like a Walmart, like fuck Walmart, man. I'm just gonna take the whole cart and run out shit, you know. No, these are small businesses too that they were doing this to. I watched like five of them and I couldn't watch it no more. Like, and even the Filipinos like, oh, how sad that these people are in their worst time of their life and they're running out the door with products. And they did. They grabbed their stuff and they were running out the door. And it's not because they forgot. It was intentional. You seen them grabbing stuff off the shelves. They got caught on camera. And then you'll see people smiling and grabbing stuff on the and I'm like, what the hell? So you also get the worst of people and then you have everybody that's suffering from this. And it's sad, extremely sad. I've seen just about everything. I was just telling our daughter the other day that it's, you know, you'll see so much. There's so much. Is it like they call it polarization or something? But there's so much contrast, like to the rich and poor here, who the haves and have-nots, to where there's good and then bad, and it's like I feel like the Philippines is like a bipolar life, 100%. Like everything is so winky wonky or something, and it's just like I was like, God damn, did they just steal all that shit off the shelves? And then you see people handing out, like going through the market and they're singing and also asking for money and they're collecting money to give to these people. And but then again, my mind started thinking stinky thinking. I was like, or are they keeping it for themselves? Because it was a small channel. So also you have YouTube channels, foreign and Filipino, that are abusing the system. Like they did that typhoon. When we first got here, there was a bunch of YouTubers collecting money through PayPal's and through GoFundMe's and all that, and they never did nothing with the money. And so it's sad. It's really sad. You can only hope. You can only hope. So you also use air filters in the house. Do you feel a difference? Yes, we have. It has made a difference because we clean them out every couple days, and it's got pet hair in it. It's a HEPA filter. I mean, I literally take it outside because I'm not going to, because they're about, for the price of the unit and how often they're changed, they're about $12 each. And we do them like every few months. But in between, every couple days, I will, the pet hair, the dust, I'll shake them outside to get rid of what's in there. And so it just helps, you know, and make sure that it's flowing. And there's two of them right now here in small spaces. Yes, I do. I do feel it makes a difference. It's definitely catching stuff, and it's got the ionizer on top of it, which helps weigh down anything. So, yeah, I definitely do. Yes, definitely do the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And is he running his mouth again? We don't watch him enough to know this. Is Mike's retirement girl pregnant? Have no idea. We don't watch him enough. He's not your biggest fan. Probably not. And I mean, I wouldn't say that because he sends us emails. We talk. It's all just YouTube, dude, because he just sent us condolences and sent an email recently. So if he's running his mouth again, he's just doing it because it's YouTube. And understand most of the YouTubers talk shit and then they're sitting at a coffee shop together. It's just the way it is. It's, I don't worry about it until they come to my damn door. So, I mean, these, it's just like highly unlikely. I definitely have insomnia. I can only sleep for a few hours and wake up all night long. Yeah. Well, and that happens in retirement. It's like when I quit working and then I officially just was on disability and couldn't work anymore. Or like when I had surgeries. I've had about 17 different surgeries in my lifetime. And every time you do the surgery, like when I was working, you sit around for like 2 weeks. One I had to take an entire month off of, and I had my gallbladder out also. And when you do that, you start just sleeping more. You can only watch so much TV. You can only go out to so many restaurants. And once you run out of these things that you're doing, then you start sleeping more. And then if you're sleeping like the other day, me and George, we fell asleep in the afternoon. We couldn't get past 3, 4 o'clock. And we were like, oh, let's just lay down. And we were just that exhausted from doing things. But then we just got right back up. So after 4 or 5 hours sleep, we were boom, right back up. So it's really off on a sleeping pattern, especially if you're retired. So yes, I have been retired for 20 years and I live alone now, and I don't sleep at night because I can sleep anytime. Yeah, see, George can do that. George has fallen asleep at immigration. Like he was sitting there and I was talking to him and he literally fell asleep. George can sleep anywhere. I really don't have a life, so nothing really matters to me. I don't talk to anyone. Um, the the sleeping thing is like I said, George can sleep anywhere. For me, I think because of my pain, I kind of rotate because of the sciatic nerve, the herniated and bulging disc. It just causes the back pain. And then of course I've gained weight. So I'm a big girl. So it's just going to be uncomfortable. Then I have lupus, and lupus feels like, oh, my joints, bones, muscles, and everything. I feel like just crap sometimes. And um, so sleep for me, it's usually anywhere between 5 and 6 hours at a time. So I'm up 4 or 5 a.m. George could already be up when I wake up, but then that's the problem. By noon, he's wanting to lay back down. He sits right here and just falls asleep. Like right after the live streams, he'll lay here for like an hour sleep. I said, "How do you do that?" But ever since I've known him for close to 7 years, he could fall asleep sitting up. He can sleep in the car. I can't. I guess it's just my anxiety. I have to be, everything around me has to be almost perfect. Got to be the right temperature. It's got to, and remember, I'm over 50. I'm in menopause on top of that. So it's right temperature. If the fan's blowing on me, it may irritate me. If there's noise outside, then I got to put a sound machine, and then I've just got to be comfortable. If my nose is clogged, I got to take an allergy sinus pill. And then once I start to get comfortable, then I will finally fall asleep. So I'm just super picky, but that is my sensitivity. I really am autistic. And so I have a lot of different things going on with them. And it's my sensory to everything. It's a sensory to light, sound. And really, I am in the wrong place for that. But wherever I'm going to be, I'm going to be. I'm still going to be crazy in the US. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to, hey, that might be a good song. I'm crazy wherever I'm going to be. There you guys go. I'm going to write me a song. I'm crazy wherever I'm going to be. I'm crazy wherever. I've said that before. It doesn't matter. If you have this medical condition, you're still going to have it here. Are you going to get your, say, OT? OT. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen on the other channel, the cat doesn't like these hands. The cat had a fit. You awake? So, anyways, I guess as soon as he seen that, he started smacking the crap out of it. He does not like. I was just petting the top of his head with it, and he freaked out. He was like, "Whap, whap, 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 whap." He's the only one. The rest of them don't mind it. Here, what? You awake? Yeah. You awake? Oh, what's wrong? Why do you do that? Look what I got. Oh, you don't mind right now? He's asleep. Look, look. No, no. He's not going to do it now. He's half asleep. Wait, it's because you guys been up. It's because you've been up. Yeah. Hey, what is going on? Black Grandpa is in the house. Your lupus will cause you a lot of depression and not much you can do about it, right? I feel so bad about you having lupus, such a horrible disease. It is really bad. As a matter of fact, for those that know, my daughter has it too. I was diagnosed probably closer to 6 years ago, right before we came here. And it explained a lot. I believe my mother did too, because she had leukemia like cancer, and it's called capillite chain. It's just the type of the way it was in her blood. It attacked all of her organs, caused her like caused compression on her lungs and kidneys, even caused her voice to slightly change because of it. But she passed away at 50. But she had all the other issues that I have along with it. And I was telling my daughter, I was like, I'm pretty sure your grandmother had it too. They just didn't, I don't know why they didn't say, hey, this is what you got. And I think you also have to test directly for it. Okay. And like there's a specific test that shows that it's in your blood. They can test. And well, yeah, depression. Being as I have anxiety, then of course depression comes along with it, and being sick all the time with all the pain. Like I hit a level 10 by the afternoon. I go off on George over the simplest things, although he's awful moody too. So you got two moody people in the house. But it's just overall, yes, my muscles, the things that I go through, it definitely does. So it's not fun. And like I said, I'd be say a lot of people like, oh, I would have never left with lupus. I'd have stayed in the US. Yeah, but there's only so much medicine. The medicine that I'm on there, I'm on here. There's a lot of good doctors at Clark, and then there's simple clinics right up the street if I need to go in, but I would still be dealing. I'm not going to run to the emergency. That's just not who I am. So it wouldn't actually matter. And with all the healthcare things going on in the US right now, I don't know if I want to deal with that. By the, uh, 1 second. Somebody's out there yelling, but sometimes it's the people selling stuff. No, see, it's somebody selling. And also, they're so loud. Like that political guys up the street the other day, there was like 10, 12 people out there. We never figured out what it was for. But sometimes they'll stand two doors down. It sounds like they're out front of your house. They never call and say it's Lazada or whoever. They just stand there sometimes. Sometimes they either, it's kind of weird, but no, it's somebody selling something. Can't even understand what he could hear him, but don't understand what he's saying. Make sure you have a therapist on telehealth before you leave the US. Oh, you're talking about like the on yeah, because but you know what? That's another thing. There are several online now. You can get those here and they're fairly inexpensive. As a matter of fact, therapist here, you could go in for around 1,000, 1,500 per visit to see him, which is about 20 or 25 bucks. The problem is you have to make sure that if you guys are getting medicine and everything, that you're actually going to the right place and that the medicines are actually available. That'd be the other problem. Don't believe people saying they are getting 4 or 5,000 a month in. Oh, you're saying those that are saying they're getting that much. I thought Ted, our moderator, was saying that they do, depending on what, not, but they're getting a higher amount. So, but isn't that, see, I don't know anything about the military, whatever. I know that there are a lot of guys here that they don't have to admit that they're on it, but they're going on about how good their retirement is. And then they'll admit they're military, and they'll go through all this stuff, and I'm like, well, then how are you getting pensions and stuff at your age? And then someone's like, "Oh, well, they're on their disability for their military." I said, "Oh, that'll make sense why they're going off buying this and doing that and always going places. It's because they've got this bigger amount coming in. It's not that they saved and everything. They're getting a government check. The same people making fun of me saying I'm getting a government check. It's like, yeah, but I work for mine. I'm not being handed welfare. I've been working since I was 15 years old, but I know that the payments are up there. It's not like my Social Security. So, I go through, we're spending right now probably around 2 grand a month in a budget. Sometimes it's 1700 or whatever. But my Social Security is not over 2,000. And so I'm not getting the max. Like we keep hearing people that are getting the max amount, whatever that is, 4,000 for it. I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when I actually see it situation. But there's, like George said, there's always going to be one-uppers and stuff, like the military men saying they're getting high amounts. There's one-uppers. That's another thing. Why are there these natural disaster of expats coming here? The one-uppers, and all of them on their channel. Well, this person that, and this person that, and this person this, and I make more money, and I do better than this person, and this is what I'm doing, and I did everything right. And it's like, oh, bullshit. You know, it's just where it is. I have the same thing, been feeling like a cold runny nose. That just feels itchy. And these are wet. These are just water. We get these, they're on Lazada, but basically they're water. They call them like bamboo or something, but I don't know, they're like $1 for 80 of them, but there's no chemical, no alcohol, nothing. This has just got water on them. And they're a thick cloth either. So, if you guys ever want like the link to where we're getting things, because a lot of people, it's things we've been using for years. Yeah, see, there's nothing on these. We use them for everything. Like I wipe the counter, we wipe the cats down with them, we wipe, anything. They just become an instant thing, and I think it's like, I don't know, 200 pesos for 3 of them or something. But yeah, it feels better because I feel like I have a cat allergy. Like I do have cat hair on me, which kind of weird I would say that, but that's never usually that bad. And I used to think it was the microphone cover because they came from like China. A lot of them, we got like 2 sets, and I thought maybe there was a chemical on it, but there is none. And this has been wiped 100 times, but more like 800 unless they are paraplegic or on SS. Yeah, but you know what? Here's my thing. There are guys on 900 that aren't on SSDI or anything. Like they're on regular welfare Social Security. Here's the thing. There are guys here that don't play by the US games. They tell them they're still living there. They come here and they're on the welfare one because, in other words, they didn't work enough to collect what they're supposed to. And that means they're getting the free Social Security. And they do live here. They 100% live here. I mean, guys are breaking the law all the time situation. But I keep hearing that people are making that, and that is all they made. So it's like really low amounts. I'm hearing these Section 8 ones that have mental issues are getting higher amounts. I don't think they have to be quadriplegic to get that they've actually become damaged or something. But again, I can't, I'm going by what I've been reading and seeing. So, although we have a lot of military in our family, nobody's collecting a disability check. Nobody's yet. Like I have an uncle that got one. He's in Vietnam. My dad gets something from being in Vietnam, but these are not those type of amounts that people keep talking about. But I know a lot of them are living on those checks. The constant air con is rough on the system. That is true. That is true. But in my opinion, what's even rougher is leaving this front door open and leaving the windows. So between the high humidity and the smog and we're only a few blocks from MacArthur Highway. And the constant, like, our new neighbor, here's my like latest tip, is they have a car. They're now parking inside of the what's it called? And I don't know if that was intended to really have a car parked in it, but if it is a carport, okay, as soon as they start their car, they sit here and wait for the AC to warm up. And it does back into the house. I can smell it every time. Like the whole house smells like fumes when they sit here. And now nobody's done this. We've been here. This is our fourth Christmas here, 4 years almost in this location. And when they go to leave, they've got like this like white SUV, and they just sit in it like, like unlimited gas situation. And then they leave and they go several times a day. And so I know that's getting in the house. And so yes, between the pets, the AC, and this is not in the Philippines. Most of them are like this. It's a split air con. So you either have a window unit or the split air con. It just puts air in. It's not circulating it. So every morning when I get up, I open the back door and the front door, and I let the air when it's cooler, and I let the air go through, and I clean the fans. So I wipe down that, because of course that's got, even with the HEPA filters, there's like everything. But we still have, and by the way, the cat boxes aren't down here. So it's like it's not like in the living room area itself. So even that's somewhere else. And we still have an inch of dust here. And I don't know if that's from opening the doors. I don't know if it's getting through the cracks. We don't have a cover at the bottom of the door. It could be getting in that way. Yeah, I do go outside. I just can't sit outside, Chippy. I can't sit there very long because of the direct sun on my skin. See how it breaks out? And so it breaks out pretty easy, because I do have also on top of that skin cancer. So that's what this is. Since I've been here, this has been dug out once. But as you can see, it looks like it is starting to come back again. So in the lupus on my medications, being in the sun is bad. But I was in Florida. So, I mean, I'm just doing what I would do in Florida. Heidi, if you ever need to leave there, come to Indiana. If you don't need fancy, and you're welcome to my humble place. Oh, thank you, Rob. I hope you're doing good, Rob. Oh, Heidi, the spirits are squeaking. Yeah, it's really weird. Maybe. It sounds like between a bird and it could be a rat, but I said, there's no way. We've seen one outside at the other place. We've seen them all the time. You've seen George put them in cages. Like he would put him in there. And so it's like, no, well, the trap caught him. He had him in a cage. We had that trap, but I don't know where it's coming from. I haven't heard it. I'm thinking it's the fan. There's something inside of the deep freezer, but it's too specific. And so even the cats gathered yesterday, and I'm like, where's that coming? It sounds like he's trapped. They have been saying about the big one, Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, that will cover a lot of the United States, but no one really knows. I believe somewhere we're at the end of times. This is the craziest stuff. But if you'd asked my mom back in the 60s and 70s, she'd have thought it was the end of time with Vietnam War and all the stuff going on with the presidents. And so every generation does, but I think we really are at some new precedent. Hey, Jose. Do you know what's going on in the country? Do you know what's going on in the Philippines? You don't know. Don't say nothing. Question mark. You don't know. Okay, it's God's work. Well, I don't know if that's directed at me or everybody else, but I do live in the Philippines and know what's going on. We have family that live in the Philippines or in the United States, everywhere, and I've got eyes, dude. I've got eyes, and it doesn't matter if it's on one channel, Fox's channel, the president's channel, individuals. You know who gives the most information? all the individuals that are on the street with cameras on a daily basis, and you can't direct one way and then be showing another. Okay, so it is what it is in the US. It is what it is in the Philippines. So I have the same problem with treadmills. I was supposed to do the treadmill for my heart evaluation and didn't last 2 minutes. Yeah, so I know what you're going through. And you think about freeze dried. Oh, yeah. Well, we have like soy flakes and we do have like dried items. Um, in that last video that I put out, I think I'm going to release it off of members only. I think I showed you guys the little containers that I keep the stuff in because it's got like a pour spout and it locks and everything with a measuring cup. And I want to say they were about $4 each. And I put nuts, seeds, quinoa. We have soy flakes that you can add. It's what they basically use here in the Philippines for like taco meat, and it's basically what's in the McDo burgers. And so we just have it on tap and it lasts for years, and it's just a couple dollars a bag. So we have a lot of like dried stuff, but definitely some freeze dried stuff. And as far as the treadmill, yeah. Yes, I'm big. You guys, I mean, you don't think I don't know that. It doesn't keep me from doing things. I move all day. The problem is because of the bad knees that needed replaced 5 years ago, and because of the sciatic nerve where I've actually had damage, and because of osteoporosis early from having kids and the lupus, everything, it just now officially my back is screwed and it runs right down my leg. It's only gotten bad the last few years. And when you slow down, then you also gain weight. And then I'm on steroids. Even the steroids is only lessening it part time. So every day I'm going to put effort into it. I have to. Yep, you ain't gonna keep this girl down. I can't help it. Even when I've been my super sickest and had my worst surgeries, it's like, boom, I'm up. I can't sit still. I'm on the fifth floor, 10 feet from the emergency exit. There is no way I'm staying inside. Oh, yeah, I was talking about if it actually, yeah, if I actually I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do is go outside. I don't think I'm gonna sit here in a doorway or something, especially because there's no buildings outside. There's nothing once we cross the street or in the street, there's nothing nearby that's actually going to fall. Okay, Thomas. This blows. All right. Good morning, Thomas. If you don't have high-rise building, you would be okay to go outside. The reason of not going outside. Okay, so that's why they advised it. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm not gonna because Florida didn't have earthquakes. California did. George has been there, and that's where most of his family was. But well, I wouldn't say Florida doesn't. Hasn't Florida had some? Has Florida had earthquakes? I'm sure they did. Yes, of course. There's been 22 of them since 92. I mean, I didn't recognize any of them. Okay, like there was one in September that was a 1.8. So they're small ones. Shit, man, it took a 4 or 5 to shake us up here a couple years ago when we was in Angel City. So, yeah, so it does say. I mean, I didn't think there was not any, but I wanted to find out specifically there, being as we're so used to just having hurricanes. I was like, yes, okay. Stand in the doorway. Yeah, because I think they're saying it's the strongest structure. You know, the sad thing is I seen people holding their hands over their heads as they were running. And then there were some places where it was like only like chairs and stuff. And they were grabbing the plastic chairs. I'll get to you here in a minute, bad boy. Thank you, bad boy, for the sticker. Money is going to be reset to the gold and silver standard again very soon. Thank you, bad boy. Good morning. Let me get down there too. Let me see what time it is there. I'm looking at where I'm at. I know I'm falling behind. Half hour. Thank you. God bless you. We was just talking about you yesterday. Thank you so much. It is so much appreciated. So I'm trying to find some of that content. All right. Yeah. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I found a bunch of other Border Patrol. Me and George was watching them last night. It was funny. And what'd you guys think? Like we put out that e-trike video, we had AI did that thumbnail. So basically, we've got several programs that we use that we pay for each month, and I'm like, usually I don't tend to use it, but it came up with I don't know if you can see it. See, that's me. There's the White House video where America's broke. That's me kind of dressed up as like kind of like Abraham Lincoln like. And then that's us on an e-trike to the other side. And I was just looking at that and I was like, it was so weird how they had done that. All right, so let's see if I can get the now them at least the tables were more rock steady and stuff. So no, they had like plastic chairs and they were holding them over their heads, and I guess something is better than nothing. Now that was yesterday. That's not Cebu. That was yesterday. See them holding their book bags. I call them book bags, backpacks. I was sitting there telling my daughter the other day I didn't even have a backpack as a kid. I was one of those that carried all 7 books around for each class. You know, the most touching thing I seen is where people have been protecting each other. Like they showed this salon where the women they just didn't run out. They gathered together and one jumped on top of each other. I seen one that reminded me that it might be like me and George. She was a heavier Filipina and they were probably in their 60s. She jumped up and she kind of smashed her husband into her, like protecting him. It was really sweet. Yeah. But see how they're, like, actively they know what to do, that's the sad part. This was an office building. It was crazy how bad it shook. I watched, total construction sites. Yeah, see, you can't hear that. I've got the audio down. You could literally hear that. It's a pole. It's like, an antenna, an oversized, big, gigantic one. You could hear it go bang, bang, bang. But construction sites being shook really bad. There was, um, you could see trucks and semis literally moving, the cars, everything bouncing. People couldn't catch their balance. That's how heavy duty these are. No, people just drop in the streets. I kind of love how I keep seeing Filipinos that just have no shirts. I get that it's like this because they run out and stuff, but it's the ones that just naturally walking around with no shirts in the streets. I wonder if this is the one where you could see the motorcycle fall. There it is. Look at that. Those are fire trucks. They were literally bouncing. Usually you can see the dogs and the birds and everything moving. No, that's people moving. That's how bad. No, they're just holding on to each other. And here's another thing. The problem is that this will scare the people for a long time. There's going to be after matter of fact, there was aftershocks. This happened at 10 in the morning. And the problem is that there was another one. I started to do, let's see if it's here. No, I don't have it. So around 7 at night, there was another bad aftershock. And so the people are just going to be like shell shocked for a while, like here, oversized rock in the road, or there'll be landslides. And there's probably, I mean, they had like a typhoon warning and everything. Not typhoon, a tsunami. Sorry, I said typhoon. My fault. Tsunami. I'm just going to read through some of these. Heidi, same thing here in the States with seems like the allergies. There was some Filipina that went to the United States and she was sick for a while. Yeah. But when she went back to Philippines, she was fine. I think it's the change in weather and being around things. Thomas said there was a quake around Drake Passage with lots of shaking going around. Mark said, looting, nothing new. That's what dirtbags do, especially liberals in the US. Mark, I don't think it makes a difference if they're a liberal or a Democrat. You just trying to get that out there. It does not matter. Crime and criminals and assholes and dirtbags don't have politics wrapped around them. That is for sure. I get so that's just it just where it is. The fact you threw liberal in there, it just shows who you are. I'm sorry. I can't. You think it makes a difference? I get it had to. You just had to throw that in there. Heidi, my barn indoor riding areas for the horses, but now it's just a tax liability. Oh wow. Please not bragging about having the barn. I would rather not have it now that I'm too old to use it. Sometimes having structures like that, yeah. Mark said that's who those people are deep down. They are just waiting for opportunity. And you're right. You're absolutely right on that, Mark. They're just like yep, yep. Crime and opportunity kind of goes hand in hand. It was crazy, but it was a lot of them. Well, I'm not just talking about one, two people. It seemed to be almost everybody ran out of there. That was, and they grabbed stuff on the way out. I was like, it's wild, but you're right on that, Mark. I experienced the opposite in the US. In rural US, everyone comes together and helps each other. That tends to be more out in the province than the city. Yeah. Um, but I still think it just depends. Everybody's a little different. But I would say, yeah, they seem to be more of a community further out in the country and province than they are in the cities. The rural USA, which is largely conservative, looks look what happened in a place like Chicago, New York, and Angeles. It's garbage. I just wouldn't put them on that cities. That's just what the media is putting in there right now. All media. What do they call that? It's a lot of cities are. It's just not those cities. I have so much woodworking equipment that I would love to give to the folks. Just don't know how to send it there. Maybe George could tell me how to send it. Yeah, contact. I mean, there's I don't think it would be better to ship it. You probably spend more money shipping it than doing it, but there are different ways and different charities, and it depends if you have the finances to send different things. There's many different ways, but yeah, you can always contact them by email or messenger. And of course, Bad Boy said hello. So I'm new to this. Why is it that I can only post so many words, then it doesn't allow any more? Yeah, just like I was just reading Mark saying, yeah, because there is a limit on how much you can type. Yeah, there's X amount of characters, and then YouTube holds certain words, and then we have a word list. We've had it for years, never have changed it. But you're just, I don't know, it's 30 characters. I don't know what it is exactly, somewhere between 30 and 50. They're not characters, but I think it's literal words. Hey, Michael, what is going on? Good morning, good evening. CC, what is going on? Love you too. Da-da. Need more caffeine. See, I'm just filling up one to the other here. Put it in the bigger cup. You are doing very well if you can get by with spending $2,000 a month. Um, well, Filipinos tend to live on 6 to 800 easy. And for me, I tell people that if they've got family, it pretty much you want to start with that kind of budget, 15 to 2,000. But then if you've got a kid, I'd make sure you have 3,000. You got a wife. Yeah. If you got that much going on and you want to travel and live a Western life, you're going to need a couple thousand, 2, 3,000 if you have a kid and stuff. But understand that we have a lot of pets. We are self-pay on our medical. We have a car. We have the e-trike. We run AC. So this is why we go through money. For minimally a year, we've been buying more organic food, more seeds, nuts, certain things that are healthier, believe it or not. I mean, I know you guys have seen me buy donuts and McDonald's and all that, but that's not most of the time. 90% of the time, we are eating unpackaged food. And when we're cooking at home versus going out, it still costs X amount to eat. So the grocery prices are going up. We shop at Landers and SM. And so for these reasons, that brings our budget close to that. So, and then, um, so it just goes up from there, mostly because of the medical, and there is no travel. We do not go to hotels. We do not go to other Asian countries. And so I know ex-veterans in the U.S. In their 30s on 4,000 vet. Well, that's what I was thinking. Is I thought that's what Ted was saying is that it would be right with there's extra benefits that they get for being disabled on top of their disability and veteran checks or something that they get something like caretaker money if they have somebody and all this other stuff. 4,000 is not going to cut it in the US. Yeah. Before we left 5 years ago, we were going through 5, 6 grand a month. And we weren't now we were going places, we was eating out all the time. You know, cell phones are a big fraction of the cost here where we were paying a couple hundred for like the internet and we had the cable and then we had several phones through Verizon. And so no, even that was several hundred. So no, things were really expensive. So right now we're living is that a third? So instead of 6,000, we're on 2,000. And so and we don't have to worry. In other words, there's enough food. We can order online whenever we want for stuff and we could get into a cab anytime. So in other words, we're not limited on the 2,000. But some months we don't even go through that. Earthquake, volcanic eruption, shifting crust are dynamic proof that the earth is never at rest. Yeah, prepare for the worst, pray. Yes, that's a good one. Pray and hope for the best. Stay safe, everyone. Good morning. Hey, good morning. Diaz, good morning. Heidi, I don't think people are always telling the truth. My best friend was military and he got money from the government, but didn't get Social Security because he didn't pay into it. 1,000 a month. Gotcha. I just think everybody, you know what I heard the other day, and this really stuck with me. I heard this saying that people, they want to be their best selves. They tend to exaggerate and they want to portray something they're really not. It's not who they are when they're alone. So in front of people, they're showing off and they're not their true self. And to everybody, they're different. To some people, they're the enemy. To some people, they're a godsend. Because I always wonder, how are people buying that shit? How are people believing in these people? There's somebody, they are somebody to someone. They are to the devil and the enemy to the next person. Because I'm like, I can think about some of these, I'm not going to say it. Um, I was thinking about some of the expats that are here where people are like, "Oh my god, they're the worst person on earth and they're this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but not when you meet them. We've met some of those people they've said are bad." I said, "No, they're not really bad people, believe it or not, but they it's hard saying." And then we found out that that person did have a bunch of problems. And it's like, here's the thing. Me and George, believe it or not, try not to judge that hard. We will meet with anybody, and we're talking about, it doesn't matter if they're like, oh, regular guy's a bad guy and he's a perv and he's touched kids. And it's like, we don't know that. You know what I mean? Until you get to know that person. So we have met with several people that people have said have been bad. And it's like, yeah, that's not who they are, but people can put on their best faces and everything. But what I've learned is that people are, I hate to say it, like when I'm with giving out candy and money to people that come by, to them, I'm a super nice person. I'm nice to the animals all the time, but I might kick George down the stairs later today or something. You know what I mean? To him, I'm one person, I'm his wife. To people outside, I'm nothing but an angel. How are they going to talk about me when they find my body in, 9 years? And I just passed away in the night or something, and they're like, oh, well, that heavy set white American girl, she passed away, that old lady up the street, she was nasty, she was evil. And then you might have the next neighbor that's going to be like, oh my god, she was the sweetest person, she gave us sugar all the time. I think people have 10 faces, and people want to pretend that they're perfect all the time. And see, I can't help it. I told you about my medical and mental issues, and I'm telling you, I call bullshit on a lot of people. I call it as I see it. If I think you're ugly, I'm gonna tell you you're ugly. If I think you're fat, even though I'm fat, I'm gonna call you fat. It's just I can't help it. It could be what makes me good on this show. It could be what makes me bad on this show. Oh, there's Heidi running her mouth again, talking shit. Oh, too bad I ain't got a middle finger. Oh, I can't. Hold on. Wait a minute. I think I can. There. Wait a minute. I can't get his middle finger. Fuck you, bitch. So, but anyways, it's everybody will appear to everybody as something. And like, you see all these bad people and their fathers and their kids are like, my dad was an angel. He was goodness, this and that, but he could have, people knew. I, I've been watching that Netflix on the Monster Show, and you have John Wayne Gacy and all these bad people, and you have Ed Gein and all that. A lot of people thought he was the bee's knees. He was the nicest person in the world, but he was doing all this weird stuff with these unalive bodies from the cemetery, and he did off a few people, and it's crazy, guys. So you kind of got the gist is, I don't trust anybody. I try to take people for face value, but it's really hard. I know when we say something, then they're like, "Oh my God, I make way more money, and you guys are broke, and you're this and that." And I was telling George, I said, "You know that these people got issues, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I know. I already told you that." So, oh, part of your message, Heidi, if you have a computer on, there is a cooling fan, and some of them blow invisible particle popcorn dust. Could be, yeah, because it's right here. It's literally, and we no longer, like we used to have the laptop, the older laptop that was like over, probably, it's probably even closer to 8 years now. The big one is officially over there because just, it's outdated. Everything was so outdated, we couldn't even update Windows anymore. That's why we got this last one. And yeah, it's a little tiny one and it sits really close to my face. Like it's within arm, like where my hand is right now. I can actually touch it. So I don't know, 14 inches from me. So maybe it is because that could be what it is, but I don't know what to do with it because we have to keep it on the desk slash table here. Lucka, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I love the Christmas. Yeah, I wanted to show it off today. It looks like it's leaning, but I just realized the camera is leaning. Yeah, on the dust. Yeah. Just going through here. Mark said someone with a 50% military gets the 11. Okay, someone with 100%. These people aren't getting what you think they are. Gotcha. It is pretty hard to be, but what about the people that are, I know that's what they call them, Section 8, the people that do have the mental disabilities and claim they were shell shocked and all that. Don't they get 100% usually? 'Cause some of these guys are getting big checks and they had already said that's why they're getting them. Or is it just hard? I don't know how hard it is. Bad boy said, got a theft last night in my garden, stealing all my garden lights. Got him on camera. Oh, snap. When the dog went off about 2 a.m., but there was nobody out there. But he's been known to bark at a dog going by. But there's several times when I've gotten irritated with Willie and I was like, told George, I said, I don't know. I said, if something down the road happens, I said, I don't know if I'm going to get a dog the next time. And George's like, no, a dog's kind of necessary. And I've even told him to take him over to his uncle's house because I got tired of the barking. I couldn't because every time he barked, it was like bark, bark, bark. And it was my sensitivity to sound, lights, everything. And I said, I can't deal because he barks at everything, but he's gotten better. He's gotten way better. But thank God for Willie out there. But he tends to keep me up situation. Luck was like, my doctor didn't allow me to use treadmill because I sometimes have vertigo. Well, I worry about that. My balance is more than anything. You guys know I fell outside twice. Once was a slip and fall. For those, I'll repeat it. I dislocated my arm. Okay, it totally came out of the socket. And then I twisted my knee in, which, by the way, is where the sciatica and up my left into my hip and down my lower back. So I forgot that that turns in. I am flat-footed and I'm clubfoot, so my feet turn in. And if you guys see me in public, you're going to see my feet literally are turned in that bad. The doctor said that not only was my weight and standing on most of my jobs, it was also the way my feet turned in. I had braces as a kid, and it did not correct them. And so I even wore the shoe inserts, and they were like special shoe inserts. Of course, it's not going to help the flat feet. So everything that can, but I get dizzy. And so all of these things have just screwed my entire body up. And then now with the lupus, and I get dizzy and stuff. And I have fell in the house once. So probably a total of 3 times since I've been in this location. But sometimes I just jump up too quick and yes, get kind of dizzy. But I do worry because when the treadmill started moving both times that I've used it, it kind of gets, yeah, I've got to get used to it now. It's like being on roller skates. I thought I could get back on roller skates years ago and just no balance for it. I don't know why that happens. Damn it, Heidi, don't worry about what people say about, oh, I'm not, sweetie, about me being heavy. I have had to deal with that my whole life. You such starving people that have heavy people in their community. Yeah, and it's always one thing or the other because there are a lot of people starving here. See, being big was a sign of wealth. If I'd have been back in the 1700s, George would have been a billionaire, man. Just where it is. And a lot of people, I kind of beat people to the punch because that's the only thing they got is that they always pick on my size, like whether they're on their YouTube channels, whether they want to compare me to another vlog, or they're like, oh, she's just a big fat white woman. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been dealing with this since I've had kids, always been overweight, and I own it. I'm not sad about it. I'm not The biggest thing I'm sad about is I can't eat the way I want to. I don't eat a large amount, but like George the other day said, "Hey, can we just can we this or that? And he would ask about, well, why don't we just order this? He wanted McDonald's again. And I said, babe, we just did this the other day. And so George always is wanting it. And I do too, because it's easy. So I don't have to cook. But I'm like, you want me to be around for a few more years. So it's like all of a sudden I got to be, like adult about it where I don't want to be adult about it. But um, the have to eat healthy. And I talk about my weight and size as a this could happen or what's going on with me situation, but I own it 100%. So it's just not because a lot of people feel that people overweight are, I don't know. I feel odd when I see people talk about their weight sometimes, but I think it should be talked about more often. I know they fat shame people. I know Taylor Swift came out recently because one of her people got dressed up. One of the Swifties got dressed up and she was like my size. And it's like, well, fuck, we got the right to fuck. We got the right to fucking be in those outfits. We got the right. Just because I'm big doesn't mean I can't be out there. You might be judged, but what's with people judging? And I think it's just part of life. And, especially like with me and George having such a big size difference, we have, well, one time somebody thought I was George's mom, right? Because I mean, twice they was like, is that your mom? And I'm like, what the hell? We don't even look alike. And it's like, especially with the light skin and everything. But well, George is light, but we have the height difference. Then there is the size difference, and then you have that I'm foreign and white on top of it, and it feels awkward sometimes. But then you just got to own it and stuff. So, but yeah, there's always going to be heavy in a community and stuff, and the Filipinos are getting heavier here, and you got a lot of foreigners that are heavy here and yeah, but I was thinking about where somebody's too damn skinny. Then they make fun of them. They make fun of skinny people too. They make fun of you because you're too dark. They make fun of you because you're too light. They make, it's just, it is something broken within that person. And trust and believe me, I could psychologically break down any person in my head if need be. And it's like, that's because they've got this and that issue. They're being bullied. They're being picked on. So I feel sad for them when they do make those judgments because sadly they're just sad. So I'm okay with it. I didn't get to be 54 years old to sit around like, boo, I'm fat, and boo, they're talking about me being fat. And it's like they always throw out the fat line first. And it's like, dude, I live here. I mean? I live in this body. The UK has earthquakes each year. When I was a kid in the 80s, north of Wales at night, yeah, I think they're pretty much just about anywhere. Yes, I wasn't going to mention that, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Grandpa. I don't think you can't see it. There, see, there it is. See? Oh, it's over here. 19 missing in Tennessee. So what's going on? I wrote that down. I just didn't get around to it yet. He said, Heidi, did you hear about the ammunition factory in the U.S. that blew up? Yeah, 19 people. Did they? I mean, I'm assuming being the building is Kapui, that's where the 19 people are. Very sad. It's sad, man. Yeah, I mean, not sad about kicking George down the stairs when he gets here later, but I'm not sad about that. Hey, Hector, good morning. Costco is selling 1 ounce bars. Yeah. Now I have to come back tomorrow with that limit. Damn, can you pick me up about 10, man? Here's the thing people have been asking us about cryptocurrency and the trading and all that. We are looking into it because we've got X amount of savings. We're really blowing through it due to medical and other things. But I don't know what you guys know about crypto. I know a few of the vloggers really do use that as an investment. They've used that to build houses. And now that's BB sneezing. BB. Oh, poor baby. It's just a constant. She just keeps on until she can clear her nose. Hi, BB. Poor baby. I'm starting to wonder about the cat litter. Huh. See, we're using a different cat litter. I know I was just talking about crypto. So let me know about the crypto before I get off of that thing. So we are thinking about investing, but we're not one of those that have the money to lose. We do and we don't. In other words, if it's gone, then that's just part of our savings gone. So we don't have 100,000, 70,000. We don't have that kind of money. We always said we're more than just average. We had X amount when we got here, but we've been spending it, medical, otherwise. We have incoming money. We have family support, but I don't have 100,000 to lose. We don't have even 20,000 to lose. So we don't know if we should be investing small amounts and then seeing how it goes over the next couple years before, because as I'm to understand, all of that is the future 100%. But if you'd asked somebody 5 years ago, they've been like, So, but no, the cat litter. I'm trying to remember what it's made out of. It's organic, but I'm starting to wonder because sometimes the other cats do the same coughing or sneezing. But they said that they could be allergic to each other too. Hmm. I have to remember what the cat litter is made out of. Just went off the top of my head. Raymond, that is what um, they did to me on a shot to raise the heart rate. Not a good feeling. Lucca was saying that here in the Philippines we do earthquake drills, and now and then, but after this it will be more often. Yeah, I experienced the one in 1990 after Pinatubo 7.9. Oh, I didn't realize it was that heavy duty. George talks only on the occasion about Pinatubo. He does tell me stories how, like, they would take the ashes off the top of neighbors' houses and how they were cleaning up, and one of the bridges collapsing and his friends and everything. See me, I talk about my trauma. I put everything out there. I'm real open and I just give it away, right? Give it away, give it away, give it away now. But George is very, as you guys have seen, I call him an insensitive prick most of the time, that he just hides everything. He keeps everything in, which there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot that he doesn't talk about Pinatubo. Most definitely. That was a scary situation for a lot of people. Which I often wondered about that. I talked about that before we got here. I said our luck is we'll get there and that'll happen. Now I'm more thinking there'll be a big earthquake through here again before there is. Um, and here's the thing, a lot of expats don't plan for additional. Those that don't have a lot of savings, that don't, whatever. I guess we would just go move to another area. It's usually fairly easy to find a place without large deposits and stuff. So we would just move to another place, um, but not everybody has that money to move when there's this much of a tragedy. So Rob says, when I grew up in the ghetto and I was 7 years old, getting food out of the dumpster and feeding my younger siblings with what was still good, we didn't steal anything. Yeah. No, a lot of people have good values. They really do. Now, sometimes I can give those people a break. Maybe they were probably bad people to begin with, but it was a lot of them that took off taking stuff. So I would say maybe they're just, a crime of opportunity and they wouldn't normally do that. But I think it's in everybody. Being bad is in everybody, just about. I bet you guys have been with a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or somebody that you didn't think would be like that. And boom, it's like, damn, did she just do that? Or did she? I think everybody's got evil in them. Sorry, guys. I think everybody's evil. Hey, Robert, what is going on? Why are you there? You couldn't find a Western guy. Robert, evidently you're new to this channel, and if you're not, welcome. I'm Heidi. I've been married to a Filipino for 5 years. My previous boyfriend was a Western guy. Okay, owned a football team, owns multi houses, multi business, wrote about 8 books. Um, and when he didn't want to get married, which was more than fine. I didn't want to be in the relationship. I was 5 years into the relationship. I wasn't going to stay any longer. I'm not somebody's girlfriend. So I'm used to being married. I've had enough relationships, but I am married to a Filipino. I guess I could ask you the same. Probably one of those guys married to a Filipina. Um, it doesn't matter. Why am I here? If you've watched our channel, and I'm surprised you haven't seen us, being we're one of a kind, we have been doing live streams for several years, multi years, and content. We're some of the original content creators in the Philippines during the pandemic, through the pandemic, and we traveled from the US to Mexico for a while and then came here. I'm here because my husband lives here. We married in the US. He was a big business owner for 10 years. And so I don't see anything, couldn't find a Western guy. You're just being an insensitive prick. So more than likely you got shit going on in your life. What? Couldn't find yourself a Western woman? Couldn't find yourself a Filipina? Couldn't find your dick in your hand? What? Go on, boy. If I didn't see it, but now you just got hiding. Bite me, bitch. And you sure the fuck wouldn't say that in my face. Surely wouldn't. If I didn't see it, but of it were in the store in the earthquake, I'm looking out for numbers. If all is okay, go back and pay. Well, I wondered if they just did that, but they were taking things off the shelves on the way out, Sarah. Because if you were holding the bag, like some of them were at the checkout, and then you had not paid and they just grabbed it and ran. Well, why'd they grab it on the way out? Like people took their bags that were on the thing and they ran out. There were people grabbing stuff off the shelves, and some were going in and back out. And I'm like, what the hell? It was just a crime of opportunity. So that's what was going on that one. So, eh. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Thera's in the house. I was just looking at the other messages because I can't see it at the bottom. I'm just going one at a time. Yeah, and I figured the guy I just addressed wasn't in there anyways. What, no comeback, bitch? Of course not. You came in and you left like a pussy, didn't you? Came in and dropped that message. My guess is that your account, Mr. Robert, belongs to another vlogger that's butthurt. Hmm. I can think of about 5 of them that are butthurt all the time. Why, you hating because this American woman couldn't stand your Western asses? Right? Like you guys are pure as the driven snow, stinking like shit all the time. Your shit stinks too. Doesn't matter if you got money to cover it. It doesn't matter at all. You got more issues than a deck of fucking cards and beyond. Bad boy says they don't have a monthly wage. Every time something vibrates and moves, it kind of makes me nervous now. How long does it take the e-trike to charge? A few hours. Depends. Most of the time it's at half. Even if it sits around for a week or two, it still holds some sort of charge. I'm surprised. So what George does or I do, we'll go out and connect it in the morning if we knew, like we did it before the live stream before we went out. But honestly, for like the only problems we've ever had is like the cat food was like 60 pounds or something. It was like a really heavy bag. Then you put me on there. Then you have George. If it's partially charged, the more weight, the more it pulls on the battery. And we bought the more expensive one. And so it'll drain it quicker. Like George says, If we want to go, he can go out and about longer without me on there, of course, because there's the weight. But then you added the cat food. We were driving all over the place. It was draining the battery, and it was like it was just pulling everything down. So I'll have to find out what the weight limit is on that. So, but that's the only other thing that would happen. And a lot has changed. I think we've officially had that bike for 2 years because somebody was asking me about a driver's license. If I'm just going in the neighborhood or like George's, he wouldn't, but he's already got a license. So, and then he's not technically supposed to be in with traffic. And some areas, depending if you're in Metro Manila or here, if you get caught in certain areas out on the main streets, they can say something. Nobody really enforces it. And I don't think they're asking for driver's license, but I know a few years ago they said they were going to make sure people at least had the license or out on the street because there were accidents. So I can't even tell you if it's because George is the one that drives it. So I have not drove it anywhere. It's not comfortable to be on there at my size or height, to be honest. And I don't think I want to get out there because, like George said, there's a balance. You go turning a corner too quick. I don't want to be like, boom, as big as I am in that trike. That would be hilarious. I was just like, oh shit, man. Hey, Thera. Thera is saying Christmas now. Yes. Good morning, sweetie. It's funny when I go to a funeral home and they start praising the dead person. Sometimes I have to look in the coffin to make sure I'm at the right person's funeral. Oh my God, right? Right. Sean, I've been reading your messages. I didn't put them all up. Except for the high ranking officers retired, it would be 3 or 4. He was talking about like the officers and everything. He says, I'm retired. I have close friends at 800 to 1400 a month that are on military disability. All right. Thank you for letting us know that. But they need to have a yearly physical to retain their benefits. So what do they do when they're here in the Philippines? There's a crap load. I'm sure of it, unless they're lying, unless they're like some sort of crypto traders or some sort of illegal operators here. That how are they doing that through the Veterans Affair offices or through what's it called? What are you doing, Mary? Come see me? Oh my God, I got bamboozled on uh Lazada. So real quick, I just seen Mary and I was thinking about costumes. So this is supposed to be like a cockroach costume, but notice it's got a marker in there. It's a do it yourself. And they didn't have the DIY on the title. They showed it on them, but it didn't show. But I have to do it myself. And it's like, damn, I don't want to do nothing myself. I thought we had actually outright bought the costume, and it's not. Oh, and Mary is so smart, by the way. When she knows something's going to happen, she like runs, especially the costumes and stuff. So, like, if she knows that I'm going to put this on her, the hat, she takes off. Hi, Mary. You're a good girl. Come here. Hi. Come here. Well, come here. She's running away. Hi, the people want to see your new haircut. See, she already seen it in my hand. When I mentioned the HAIR cut, literally she knew I was talking to them on the phone or talking to George. She started hiding under furniture and stuff. What are you doing, Mary? Hey, you a good girl. Come here. There she goes. Wow, she knows. She already seen this in my hand. See, she knows now. She's crazy. How do you carry gold bars to the Philippines if you don't use paper money? Oh, I don't know. But watch the value. I believe it is still at 10,000. And if not, you got to declare it and do other paperwork. That's about as much as I know if you don't use paper money. I'd carry them in my front pockets. That's what I would do. Lots of things Philippines lack. Decent, wide sidewalks, parks, and when we take walks and exercise, do outdoor activities and meet real people. Instead, we go to the malls. Most of the areas you do. You're always going to have the one-uppers that say, "Oh no, blah blah blah." Yeah, you're living in certain areas of Makati. I don't know why this is. You're living in certain parts of Makati or what they call it, Is it Greenbelt? There's that place that Sunshine keeps going or talks about or was at or something, but it's a nice area near Makati. I think it's called Greenbelt. But there are nice areas you can get all that going on. But outside of that, there I would say the real Philippines, like George would say, born and raised here, like he would say, fuck you guys. I lived here. I'm Filipino, and all you guys are, you all know more than me and all this. And it's like you guys don't. I've been here 30 years and I've been here 20 years and I know that. Yeah, okay, whatever. But the real Philippines, yes, there's a whole slew of things about that that's right. Even when we have the city stuff, that's the biggest reason I got a treadmill. First off, I don't want to be out there in that hot heat. So, that's one reason for a treadmill. The other is the roads are unsteady. That's where I'm going to break my neck. I'm going to go one street over and end up breaking my neck when I do walk around the block thing. And so it's more for the steady streets, but for the disabled, for the elderly, it is more of a dangerous place. And it's not for everybody. And then a lot of people are like, well, why'd you even go? Yeah, because it's my husband's country and it's cheap. That's why I'm here situation. And so um, it's going to probably be the next live stream. It's loud, it's dirty, and it's friendly, and it's cheap. And that's pretty much what describes, the Philippines. And I'm not here for someone to suck on my wood, man. And there's nobody doing my dishes. Well, I get George to do dishes every now and then, but hi, Mary. Hi. Hi. She took off again. Like, hi, Mary. Hi, Mary. Hi. Hi. Yeah, if I had some toast here, she would be over here. But see, she already seen me hold the costume, so she knows. So smart. Yeah, they're very smart girl. But anyways, you got the point that that is all real. Well, Bad Boy says we are going back to the gold standard, not the petrodollar. What was the other thing? I believe the head of the U.S. said that they'll end up killing the banks eventually, and it's all going to be under cryptocurrency as their plans. Or I wouldn't doubt they would fold the dollar and to where what's it bricks and these other things. I'm not sure. I just know they're talking about it's going to be banks closing and all this other stuff, but that could just all be talk. Okay, so you said I don't trust crypto, so many trying to get others to buy. Yeah, it seems like there's something off. I think the value, I think the safest if is gold. If I'd have bought gold 20 years ago at the cost and held on to it all these years, then you could be making money. Hi, Cookie. Did you Oh, I say hi. Hi, Cookie Bear. Where's Cookie? Hi, Cookie Bear. You come to say hi? Huh? There she went. Cookie almost always hides. She rarely comes down. They like to sleep where the sun is, and they got like all their cat items. It's okay. Who you growling at? Two or three of them don't get along either most of the time. Yeah, but anyways, back to the crypto. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to say what's trusted. And yeah, gold or just keeping your cash. I'm possibly the stock, but even the stock scared me. I'm not generationally wealthy. I didn't have jobs that paid out the butt. I had, two working people in the house, just middle class or under type of life. So my brothers are American born due to late dad being in the RAF. Thanks, bad boy. Oh, because I said, yeah, the dick in your hand, bitch. Because that's exactly what's going on. I mean, what kind of stupid statement was that? Couldn't find a Western guy? Sounds like me questioning you couldn't find yourself a Western woman. One of these dudes that probably this woman worked her entire life along with him and took care of the house, had his kids, raised his kids while he dicked around and did whatever, which is a lot of the guys that are here. They've even admitted it. They were good men, and then they come here to the Philippines to live, but they divorce when their kids are in college. Some will even talk about, well, my kids are in college, or my kids are back home and I miss them, but I started a new life. I just found another channel. The guy's in 62 and just started a new family, another one. And I'm like, why? I mean, I hate to say it, I'd rather hang myself than start a new family. You guys are nuts, and you know that's the damn truth. Why? Why would you come here during your retirement years, drop your dick in something, and get somebody pregnant, whether you love her? I don't love nobody that much. I don't love George that much. Wasn't gonna have a kid with George and start all over again. If George would have said that, I'd been like, bye, bitch. No way. No, sir. No ham. No way. No Sam. Fudge that shit. Fudge it, man, because I ain't starting over. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, if you're a guy that have been divorced for a long time and you're in your 40s or something, maybe started over, maybe. But falling in love and starting all over again like that is just overrated. You're destroying your retirement, and the whole point of coming here is to do a decent retirement, and you're going to be raising a kid? And then most of them are already sick. I'll tell you one of the sad parts. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not against the person. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've been seeing Monty Crew. We talked about him, and God bless him. And I hope things work out for him. But he's pretty terminal, in my opinion. He's still got a young daughter he's raising. He's got kids back in the U.S. He's got a fairly young wife, and he's been going around making it public how he needs help and how he's sick. He's gone to the other vloggers that have highlighted him, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then he's got this young daughter, but he's like, I won't go back to the US because I want to be here for my daughter. Honestly, he needs to go back at this point. He is that sick. He has spent all of his money, everything, to have all this stuff cut off of him for cancer and throat this and nose this. Sorry, I'd have went back. I have my limits on watching how the man goes around circle, and people are like, we keep getting emails like, Heidi, have you seen what this guy's doing? Yeah, right now it's not a concern. And yes, he needs help and all this and that. And then the other day I seen him with his daughter, and I'm like, God, that's got to be rough. The man came here and he's got what is she, about 7, maybe 8? That's too young. And he's up there in age, and you're leaving these kids behind. That is the biggest crime. That is a big crime. That is going to, regardless, when he passes away, that's going to wreck her in her head. It doesn't matter if they had 3 years together. I mean, he's even made comments about that. I'm spending time and quality time. He's going to remember that. She's going to remember that. Kind of crazy. Well, sometimes. Sometimes I regret I got into politics too much the other day. I don't regret a whole lot of what I said, but I don't want people I want people to mostly get along. I don't mind a little smacking on each other, but I just want to stay out of that ring, but don't regret a whole lot. No, not a whole lot. Very, very rarely. I mean, it is what it is. Thank you, bad boy. I've got that thing I said for the granddaughter. Thank you. Okay, the VA. Yeah, it's the VA admin is where I'm thinking they get those evaluations. Honestly, some people do. Some people do. Hey, Mary, get out of the cat food. She's eating the cat food. She has for a year. George is like, is Mary allowed to eat the cat food? I said, you ask me this like once a week. I said, yes, she's not supposed to, but we can't stop it. We put it higher up where she couldn't get it, but now she's learned to jump the stairs. For the first 6 months, she was afraid to go up the stairs. She's learned how to go up the stairs because we have 2 sets of stairs that George stays away from. Oh, okay. Dan is saying APMX is a great site to buy, sell, stores all precious metals. Gotcha. The Orchid Inn looks like where I'm going to stay for a few days. Oh, because I was asking about crypto. Crypto is not a good thing to get into now. Yeah, it's really fluctuating up and down, and they say it's the future, but they could just be saying that. There are people that claim they're in the full market, and that's what's been, they go on about their monthly income, how they're buying things here, but I'm not going to invest the last of our money to see if we're not that desperate. We're happy. We have food. Um, my daughter said something that really struck me also, way beyond, like, she's way above um, smart. Like, I wouldn't have thought about these things at her age, in her mid 30s. She said, when I'm having a hard time with my day and I'm like doing dishes and I'm not getting any help from the husband, or my son won't help me, or I'm not getting any help and it's been a long day, which women take on a lot of responsibilities in all relationships. We're mothers all the way around. It's just where it is. For the guys that dog the American women, she said that I remember that I should be grateful that I can do my dishes, that I have food to put on those dishes, and that I have dishes, or that I have water. I said, that's the way you got to look at us. I'm glad you are, because there was days I've been like, fuck this shit. What the fuck? These bitches ain't helped me, blah, blah. I just would have been off the chain while I'm doing the dishes. But she really, yeah, she really puts her trust in a lot of things, and she's right. I'm like, no, that's kind of where I am on most days when I'm in the Philippines, is when I'm like, I don't have anything here to eat. I've only got, some hamburger, and I've only got this, and I don't have any snacks, or I start complaining because I don't have something different to eat and just bitching. I'm like, oh man, I probably got more food than most people on the street. So it's just where it is. You have to be grateful for, what you have on the spot, and she is at that point. She's really smart. Hey, Mike and Venus is in the house. What is going on? Jojo is in the house. What is going on? That's the truth. A lot of older guys are coming here and want to feel like they are in their 20s. I get it, but it is silly and it's unrealistic. In the long run, it is. And I'll probably cover this person. I don't know when I want to. It's another vlogger that goes around out in the province around these women, these younger 18-year-old Filipinas, and the guys out there. Like, one guy is living in a house where there's a bunch of sisters and cousins around all the time. He's surrounded by all these teenagers. In my opinion, 18, teen, they're really young. And I guess it makes him feel young again, but he doesn't realize how not only silly it looks, but it's just creepy. And they were out boating and, family barbecues and all this, and he's got all these young girls around him, and I get it, it feels like a harem to him, but it's really odd, and he's partially overweight, which nothing's wrong with that, but I guess he's just all into himself, that all this is okay, and then you're hoping, please tell me this guy doesn't have any kids with these with one of them or something, and I'll have to watch the rest of the video, but it was just kind of weird. But it is unrealistic, but they do this. Sperlin, good morning from Lapita. Ruby is in the house. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Must be the in thing, Heidi. My ex is 62 and has a 2, 4, and 7-year-old. I don't know about being the in thing. I think that, I don't know. I think I heard Sunshine do something similar to that topic, why you'd want to ruin your retirement and coming here. These guys plan for a while, and then some plan like a creepy creep when they come here and do that. I I know a lot of them always say, I didn't come here to be a vlogger and I didn't come here for a relationship. And I could bet money 8 out of 10 it do exactly that. I get you find that person. You don't know how your life, you can't plan it out. It happens. But to, I don't know, it's exactly what sets them off to talk about us. And it's what sets them off to Western women, Western that, Who knows? That's why so many YouTube channels showing the girls and how cheap it is. Yeah, clicks for views. These older guys are jumping on a plane, grabbing any girl. Yeah, and some are, that is their plan. They actually plan to use the YouTube money. That's why a lot of the vloggers say these guys are they need their YouTube money. And like, who's going to turn away the goddamn money? But some do intentionally. That's what me and George has been saying. They use their people to get money. I just seen another guy. His channel's not even 2 months old. He spent a month in America or two showing himself doing walkabouts. How original. Walking around with the camera pointed on himself in an American neighborhood. How original. And I'm going to the Philippines. And then he starts giving advice about going to the Philippines. Never been to the Philippines. Plan B. Let's start the moment you go to the first airport and let me start recording myself. How fucking original. And then they show what they're eating and they show when they're in the airport and then they show their Filipina chasing him around at the airport. And it's like, then he went right into the province of Cebu talking about, here I am in there. And then he's doing more walkabouts. And it's like, how the fuck are you guys still watching that shit? I guess it's not my problem, but I guess it's my right to say, hey, what the fuck is really going on? You guys are fucking idiots. I mean, but somebody's watching it. Is that because they want to be him? Because that's their plan? Because they watched Old Dog or the next person or somebody else and they're coming here to do the exact same thing? Ah, who knows? Same shit, another day. I just say shit to say shit. Calling out the truth. But what could go wrong? Nothing except for these girls being used because these guys have wallets. It's sad because I see them. I'm at grandmother age. And when I see an 18-year-old girl being told what to do, and they are telling them what to do, or they walk all over them, they're also along with being an idiot. But they have no choice sometimes because they use their poverty against them. The other girl's like, oh, I'm educated and I'm this and I'm my own woman. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Look at your old man. Go on. Look at you. You're doing it because you're generationally broke, not wealthy. And so, did your mom give you that advice? Did the next person give you the advice? Who knows? I don't know. But same old, same old. Right? Ruby was saying to Thera, yeah, the ex is looking for retirement with 3 young kids. Crazy. And some of them already know that they're going to, depending, it depends on how they file and what they do, because I don't have the full works on it. They also get additional on their social security check when they have kids. And some have intentionally, there was a guy here with 4 kids. One of them had Down syndrome. I forgot whose channel was it Overstay Road? I think it was Overstay Road because his kids got an issue too. Um, I think he's got autism and something else, but he was at the other person's house and one of them had Down syndrome and the guy was like near 70 and one of his kids had Down syndrome and he had a bunch of young kids and the girl was really young. And but he was going on about his social security. Yeah, he knows that I think up to 2 kids, 3 kids, they get an additional amount and then their social security stops at a certain thing and he was. I don't know if she had went back and lived for a while. I don't know if they could just apply through the embassy. Not exactly sure, but I know it could make their checks go up, and they're aware of this too. No, I'd rather be broke, like real broke. I'm not talking about like the like broke of what I feel I'm broke now. No, I would rather eat macaroni and cheese in a small 1 room place than to start over again like that. But that's just me. I love my kids and my grandkids, but I ain't about raising kids even in my 40s. In my 40s. Uh-uh. Yeah, you're right, Ruby. It's like Fantasy Island for those guys. Like the love boat. Dun, 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 dun. The OT, the love boat. Wow, what's really going on? Dun, 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 dun. Wait a minute. Hey, maybe we can use that on George. You know how he's always see. It's got a little, little thing to hold. And who wants to go back to feeling like you're in your 20s again? Because my body forgets all the time. I told George if I didn't pass a mirror, not only would I not know I'm big, like big and fluffy, I wouldn't know I was aging. You know what I mean? It's, you are who you are and feeling comfortable in your own skin situation. But once you start moving around, I know these guys are hurting, but instead they're so stupid. They're just holding all that shit in. And then when they go to bed at night, they're like exhausted. And here's another thing. A lot of these guys are putting on a big show on YouTube, how great things are, how well they get along. They've got this young wife and got kids. Yeah, they're falling asleep at 8, 9 o'clock while they're Filipinas TikToking, talking to guys, hanging out with family members and other guys or out doing whatever. Oh, well, she went to the mall to go shopping. Okay, that's where she is. You realize how many of them that are with expats that are over 40 and 50 or at least double their age, how they're really not out just doing these things? Maybe they don't care. Maybe they really don't care as long as they're doing their dishes and raising their kids and all that. But a lot of these guys get in fights with their Filipinas because they're cheating on them or because they're giving stuff away to family members and borrowing money and all this other shit. But I wouldn't want to go through all that. There's too much. I mean, I can barely tolerate on some days George, and I don't have hardly any issues with George. It's just things that go on. And it's just like, I'm grateful because his family is the one that's got a better setup and a family house. And they're the one that gave him a car for Christmas 2 Christmases ago. I've been lucky. We've even had them give us money. So, like during the pandemic when we first got here. So it's just where it is. I can't see doing it. And again, this could be why we're hated because I'm always talking about it. So most of them that are talking about me fit in that category of shit. And it's exactly why our channel doesn't grow because I am a female opinionated expat that they call liar and that I don't have the right information and I don't ever get out because all they see me is on the couch, which we do. Where do you think my life comes from? And that they don't like what I say. So of course they're going to talk. The ones that you guys keep advising and sending us emails or in live streams are the ones that are butthurt is because we do say this stuff. And we're never going to grow based on that. You would think we would grow. We'd never expected to even get to where we're at, what, 24,000? Because this is not the preferred channel. We're not the Filipina piece scripted, well scripted, where that is going on. We're not these other guys' channels that are discussing dating and what to avoid and this, and that. We're not any of them. We're just different. There are Western expat females here, but they usually don't do live streams unscripted. They do videos that are scripted, or they're definitely not Americans. So it's just where it is. And we do answer a lot of questions and we still help a lot of people. It's why we do it, but we're not exactly like, nor do I give a fuck. So, a 10-year age gap maybe is okay. Yeah. Anything more is questionable. You got to think it's not real. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was saying that the other day. I was tripping George up and talking. I said, yeah, I just can't see it. I couldn't see if George passed away. One, I know my limit on starting dating all over again and going through all of that. Secondly, I got my medical issues. And most of these guys have all that going on that I've got going on, overweight, medical issues, and all that. But they push themselves to the limit if someone's going to clean their house or if they're going to have their duck sucked and all that. No, screw that shit. There wouldn't be one person that I would trust in the dating world right now. Oh, I'm sure they would date. I'm sure even in my shape and everything loudmouth, they would put up with anything. Like these guys are smoking 2-3 packs a day. Let me give you a good idea. Most of these dudes are drinking all day, smoking cigarettes all day, and got all these nasty habits. They don't brush their teeth, their hair, they're in greasy shirts. It's the truth. They want to put shit on me like something's wrong with me. And it's like, you do see yourself, right? You just think your shit don't stink because you got a wallet that'll lead an 18-year-old Filipina. Yeah, that's what makes you a better person, bitch. But the deal is they get here, they do this dating, and I just couldn't imagine them not thinking that it isn't about the money. The same here. Same here. It's I don't have a ton of money, but way more than 60% of the country. And I just couldn't trust anybody to actually think that they're just dating me for me. So it'd be like, I hate to say it, it'd be like me being a millionaire in the US. If I had a million in the US or a couple million, you don't trust a whole lot of people that aren't already in your circle. At that point, most of them, like the celebrities, they're just, when they get women that'll come up and do anything, it's because of the money. They damn near become prostitute like for the money. And it doesn't change when you get here. So not only would I not be looking for love, but would die deeply inside if he did. I'm madly in love with George. He's funny. He's a stand-up guy. He's a family guy. He's an asshole sometimes, and he's insensitive, but he's my insensitive prick. And we're fun. Like, we have fun together. We go through good times and bad times. But when he's gone, he's gone. But still, at 54, do people start over? Yeah, I'm still younger than most of the guys coming here and starting over, but I just would not imagine doing it here due to that. But these guys do it all day long, and they start a YouTube channel. So then Heidi gets a good laugh. Oh, these American women this and these Western women that. I just seen this dickhead that literally said that all American women walking around the US are at least 200-pound hoofers. And I'm like, wow, okay. And then 4 other guys behind him came in and says, yeah, I agree. They're all fat. And I'm like, same fucking guys that are sitting there at 200-300 pounds that are at least 50 pounds overweight. But when a woman is overweight, it's something different. Well, that'll tell you how shallow. If you're going to go by size and weight and all that, then you got a problem to begin with. Because most of you have probably already screwed an overweight woman and probably enjoyed every minute of that loving. But you're going to talk shit because other people talking shit. Bullshit. As a matter of fact, there's probably more crackhead skinny women there than I've seen overweight women because of that damn fentanyl and all that other shit. Truth. Nothing but overweight women. What do you just live in a goddamn Walmart or something? Do you just live near a Weight Watcher center or something? What are you talking about? The women are not all overweight. The same here. You think all the women are skinny here? I just seen another walking street video, and most of the women standing outside look to be at least 20, 30 pounds overweight. Does that mean the guys aren't going to come? The answer is no. They're overweight here too. Anywhere. Everything is the same here. Stop making it like it's the magical center. You just lost your goddamn mind before you got on that plane and after you stepped off on this plane, living in some magic world and shit. Oh. Hmm. Bitch. You know what? Me and Sunshine, we definitely got to get together and do a live together. Not split screen. We really need to be in the same room. Mm-hmm. And it's not because he doesn't. What I'm saying is he tells the truth too. That's about the only vlogger that I have found that puts out the real shit and puts out his real shit. I put out my real shit, what's been on in my life. He's absolutely told the truth about his life. Then people want to act like they know something or discovered something. Shit. You know what? Here, I'm going to show. For you bitch vloggers, kiss the pig. Oh, you can't even see him. Oh, you can't see him because of the light. Oh, there he is. Fuck you, bitch. Here, kiss his butt. Kiss it, bitch. Right there. George got this for me. He's a squeeze bear because we like pigs. Look at him. So you can flatten him out. And he's got a tie. And you can smash his face. See? See? Okay, so let me show you. This is what. This is me when I got to the Philippines. A long time ago in 2000 2019, I got on a plane and went. We didn't get on it. Well, we came to the Philippines, but we initially drove into Mexico, stayed there for a while, and Heidi looked like this. And then she ate pizza and Hershey bar, and then dum da dum da dum dum da dum. Went around vlogging, YouTubing. A lot of Mexico sightseeing. More pizza, more tacos. Doom, da, doom, da, doom, da, doom, da, doom, da, doom. And then I got to the Philippines and got to all the sugary Asian food, packaged foods that were here. And dun, 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 dun. There it is. And there I am now, guys. All right, guys. I've got too much caffeine in me. I had to make a short on that one. Long time ago. True. And then they put me on steroids, and the lupus got worse, and the joints got worse, less movement, other medication. Like 3 of the medicines I'm on is a pure weight gainer. And I wish I was eating the food that matched the size. That's the sad part. But I'm still enjoying it. Must be difficult to focus on work when you've set your mind in retirement. Yeah. Yeah, and Raymond was talking about Fantasy Island. Yeah, I used to like that show, the new version. I love Fantasy Island. Yeah. Watch that too. Again, if you guys want to go look at our playlist, we've got Antics Old TV. We keep adding stuff. George adds stuff. And then of course we've also got a playlist of music. It's called Wake Up Antics Music or something. It's got like 100 songs on there. Throw the mix in, there'll be everything that you listen to on the radio, 80s, 90s, 2000, some 70s. But that is true. It is men. They urge for the young tale is strong and doesn't fade. Yeah, and the younger ones too. I don't get the fantasy of these young girls, whether it's in the videos they like to watch, whether it's in person. Why do men, and I know women do, you guys will say there are cougars and everything. Yeah, at some point, I guess, but still, it hasn't hit me where I'm like, yeah, I'd like to have a 30-year-old. Sorry. And nobody I know of just says, "Hey, I want to be with a younger guy." You look, you move on. It's kind of, but some guys, the urge is great to be around these 18-year-olds. I guess they don't see themselves as being old, and see that just I don't drink or smoke. I don't chase young girls. Well, not everybody. When I'm talking, it's what I've been seeing around here, what goes on, and so not everybody. Oh, there it is. Bro was like, my girl can't have kids. That's another thing. Some guys get trapped. Not all guys make that plan to have a baby. These Filipinas are trapping the guys. Sorry. They're like, oh, I'm on the pill. I'm this. That's been said by many channels. Don't even have to make that one up. It is a trap sometimes. And some girls want to make sure their husbands are never going away. So it's another way of doing it. It's not this romantic stuff that I heard last year of, oh, but I wanted a piece of my husband to be around forever. Okay, I don't. Uh, but it is it's security for more than one reason. How does a guy in Doomageddon get away with what he says to young? There's quite a few of them. I don't know, and they do, and they will. It's kind of out there. Hey Jen, what happened there? Yeah, she said, Heidi, I just got back my YouTube. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing, your husband doing well. Oh, sorry about that. Good to see you back. Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah. George is getting better. He's with his uncle today, usually Saturdays, almost always. 100% are me. I've been doing more of the YouTube live streams and everything, but I don't know, for those that didn't know, I'm just going to mention again, his dad had passed away during the last 30 days, but his grandmother, his dad's mother had passed away shortly after that. So it was like one back to back for him. But he loves his uncle. Him and his uncle are kindred spirits, this one uncle that he has. And they're almost their way that they are almost totally alike. And It gives me time to do my thing and chill. And I've got several little hobbies that I do here, and then it gives him time. So we're setting in a routine. It's taken almost 5 years. We went through where we were on top of each other and arguing and fighting all the time, and what we're gonna do. I was bitching about everything, going through a hard time, and then all of a sudden it was just we just kind of fell into a way of doing things like we would in the US. And so I mean I'm fairly happy. Fairly. Till I got like Mary hiding. Mary, what's going on? She's hiding. She's hiding under the furniture. Every expat traveling to the Southeast Asia should get fixed, prevent getting someone pregnant. You know what they ought to do after watching that border security? George has been watching more. Like I used to play it in the background and talk shit and everything, but he never really watched it until he sat down and watched. I got him caught in like 4 episodes. We were like 6 hours into watching this stuff, not all in a row, but like we would play like there's 2 3 hours on each one where it's got multi shows. But anyways, he was like, "Wow, they're tough," or "Oh my god, I can't believe they took their visa." I said they ought to do that in the Philippines. But the Philippines will never, as I would say, man up to make sure that the right people get in here because they'll lose tourism. And they will also that's how people make their money because in Australia, they're really tough on immigration. Like if someone's coming in, they will make sure that they're not there to work. Too many suitcases, they know they're there to live, like the guys here. Some guys come in with 3 gigantic suitcases and claim they're coming here for 30 days, and they're like, "Yeah, that's." If they would check, they would see these guys. The same with renewing the wrong visas for X amount of years and all that, but they do all this background checks and all these things. And, it is what it is on who would stay and who would go. So, but they would, yeah, some ought to be fixed before they come in. Uh, and they're not going to do it. Another butthurt customer. Fantasy Island would be okay if everybody gets what they want. Yeah, some of the Fantasy Islands were kind of odd, man, for me. I was like, I started watching the old ones over like a couple in a row because I tend to binge watch when I have time. And I just watched one after the other. And it was like, did they really get what they really wanted? Of course, it was a lesson. It was a lot funner when I was a kid. Heard Papua New Guinea is getting digital IDs. I think how that is even possible there. Wow, yeah. Well, in this day and age, I'm surprised some of them fell behind on certain things. So I seen his video the other day where he was at Candy Palace. We've done content at Candy Palace. We know Mark, the owner and everything, and we've been in contact with him. And I appreciate seeing the new inside because we haven't gone over there. I checked to see if they do like the Airbnb thing or like where we could just go and rent a room. I don't see where the new one you can do that. I think they're just selling the units officially. Once they're sold to people, they're the ones that rent them out. But I noticed that Chub Dub C's channel has a lot of his friends that were with him there in the beginning, and left him. He's alone. Yeah, because there used to be other vloggers he hung out with, and how he got his start was from another bigger vlogger, and he used to hang out with a bunch of people, and now, yeah, he seems to be straight off, but that's the way it goes here. I hate to say it. And I don't know. He seemed off, like something's off with him. I don't know if he's going through something. Like when I seen him this last time, there was something off. Um, so I don't know. There was a lot of strange things that I had noticed with him, but there's only so many vloggers that we watch on the occasion, and we don't watch every single thing because a lot of people like, did you see that so and so said this or that? It's like if we paid attention every time someone said shit about us or talked about how bad we were or what we said, we'd spend all day with our ass glued to YouTube. And believe it or not, we don't. We still have a life. But Chubb does his content. He gets out there. He was like a replacement for a couple other vloggers, but it's like repetitive how they show. All of them will watch the same guys that go to the same places and hang out there, and it's like I don't get how people would want to continuously watch the same places done by other people, even if it's on a different situation, if there's nothing new, not this monotone, oh, welcome to Walking Street, or the silent ones where they just walk and weirdly put cameras in people's faces. Is the, oh, this is the Jollibee that is down here, and let me talk to this girl here. Oh, look at her, she's cute, and it's like I can't. Truth, I don't know. Shit, don't watch us either. I don't give a shit. But you got the point. And I'm telling the truth. I'm just going to put it out there. That is one reason I know George is with me, because I don't mind punching someone in their teeth, and I don't mind telling them like it is, and I don't mind snatching shit out of their hands if they piss me off. It's just I'm going to be like that. It's I same. Chubb's got plenty of friends. I hollered at him the other day at Phillies. Oh, I don't think it's as much as he doesn't have friends. The original people that he was with, like, all those people aren't around. That I know. Oh, I'm sure he's got friends. I think he's even got a friend. It's, what's her name moved on. Just his life, like everybody's here, changes. Life changes in the US as you go through. Oh, Heidi, but I don't have any greasy hair and I do brush my teeth. Oh, Thera, I'm 26 years older than my guys. I do have one missing molar, though I don't smoke occasionally. Oh, go sit down somewhere. I'm just kidding. uh, can't find Sunshine's channel. I get binaural music. Huh, interesting. Sunshine Shoulders? Sunshine is real. I see there. It's weird when you guys put stickers. It beings were through the streaming software. It just says face purple crying face crying. Yeah, see, I'll show you what it gives us. See, isn't that weird? If we're not directly using YouTube to actually signal, it gives us this stuff. It's weird how they don't have it in there. Hey, Joseph. I'm here in Shergow. You felt those tremors. Yeah, wow. Last night in the bar, everybody got quiet. Yeah, I bet. It is. People are going to be like shell shocked. They're already saying how, like, the people in Cebu and everything are just really going through it, and they're going to continue because now they don't know when this is going to happen. So they're always going to be tense. I love pigs, especially lechon. I want one of those, Heidi. I gained 30 pounds since I quit working in 19. I already told you guys, since I left the US, 90 pounds maybe. Most of it has come on in the Philippines. It's kind of scary for me, but I hate to say this, me probably a Filipina putting on 20 pounds is me putting on it. I'm so tall and was already chunky. I was one of those people you almost couldn't tell were pregnant. I mean, I was skinny when I started out with my first pregnancy, but by the time I had my second one, I only lost like 30 pounds. I was pregnant a few months after my daughter was born. The kids are 16 months apart. It was kind of crazy. 15 months apart. Yeah. But hey, I own it. The only thing I was telling my daughter is that the weight, just like the doctor said, eventually would set on my bones. It's not without trying of losing weight. I can eat healthier than anybody, and I have, and I will go through periods like half my day. I'll eat all this healthy stuff, and then I fall into eating something sweet, and then I'll eat something sweet later on, and it catches up. But it'll catch up to your knees and your bones in your body. That's my biggest regret. I don't regret somebody stares at me and says, "Oh, there's a fat bitch." That's not my regret. My regret is how I'm feeling right now, not how I'm looking. Because I'm going to get the stare. I told George that even if I was skinny, I'm going to get the stare because of being 6 foot tall. I'm going to get the stare because I'm a female here. And it's the size is just another thing. It could be my hair. I'm like, are they looking at my hair? Or are they looking at, what's going on? But it's how I'm feeling. It's hurting my joints even more. So mostly me eating is it's for me is it's staying honest with myself. I feel sorry for George because the other day we didn't have like anything in the house. I ended up making him them banana pancakes out of wheat flour, but we've got like some garlic peanuts or something here that he can that he can eat and stuff. And I was like, you can reheat some of the dinner, but we didn't have any like bags of chips. We didn't have like the donuts. Packaged foods. We used to, when we first got here, this house was always full of junk food. Like we would have anything you would just pick up whatever you're eating. But I didn't pay attention to that when I first came in the country. And it was just like, you'd be surprised that there's 300 calories and more sugar in one little package of food than there is. But I know now, but it didn't stop me. And so I just had to be straight up with myself. Ruby says, every time I visit the Philippines for 5 to 6 weeks, I always lose weight. Aw, in spite of eating all the time, I do eat everything. I fancy in moderation. Even if it's, I hate to say it, even in moderation, it's always, I think it depends because you could still eat small amounts of sugar and actually gain weight. You have good genes and you're beautiful and you're very lucky. You're very, very lucky because moderation, I can't eat large amounts and I don't sit around eating 24 hours a day and I still put on weight. It could be all medical. And then people are like, oh, well, then account what you've eaten in calories and calories in and calories out. Sorry, George eats more than me and he's not gaining the weight and he does not even move as much as I do. So I don't know. But I am accountable that I definitely eat the wrong things. So moderation is key, most definitely. Probably moderation that I stay off the sugar there, Ruby. And genes make all the difference in the world, 100%. My mom is big, my grandmother's big, her mother is big. We've got like 3 skinny people in our family and they don't sit around eating all day. So you would think so. They'd be like, oh, well, Heidi's big, the rest of her family's because they eat all day. No, genes does play a part. I know people that eat all day in their older age, like literally sit around and eat, and they could go to all these the Filipino, not Filipino parties. They could go to different things, events. Email just popped up, and they can eat and do whatever and keep eating, and they never do. You watch these now. When you're younger, that's one thing, but in older age, and you continue, but they don't gain no weight. So it does deal in genes. They probably gain like 20 pounds. Like George eats all the time and he's starting to become that middle-aged guy where some of his stomach's coming in, where he was super skinny when he first got here. But to me, the 10, 15, 20 pounds is not the issue. That's about as much weight as he gained. Me, 90. Boom. They say it's a blessing. I lose little too, Ruby, especially when I got sick from the mineral blue bottled water. Oh, from drinking the bottled stuff. Yeah. Thought I heard somebody call outside. Yeah, you're talking about the bottle delivery. Yeah, somebody going by selling something. One should be happy with themselves 100% and not see the value of their happiness because of their partners. Partners should complement you, not complete you. Uh, that is true. I had to think about could they do both? Yeah, I would agree. Compliment you versus complete. I always say that they complete you by like George. Compliment as in complete for me would be a better description. Like George can do one thing that I can't, just to compliment me and be extra that he can do this, and that, but complete me because not complete as in okay, he has money to add, and complete as in like these guys having a wallet and everything, but there are things that he does complete. That's why I think kind of both of them apply. Because there are a lot of things that like mechanical that he does and that he takes on this task and this, but I get it. I kind of feel it's both. But it shouldn't be Like George would say, if you're unhappy, that is on you. George can't fix that. And if you're, you got to love yourself first. So you bring up a good point. Yeah, they cannot, be your happiness. And George had mentioned that in the very beginning, different things. He went through all that stuff. He's been married before. And he's like, if you're sad, that's on you because you're sad. He goes, I didn't cause that. Pretty much it is your already sad situation. But yeah, it's really, I think it's kind of both. Right? They're serious about that shit. They've turned people away. And we're not just talking about the simple ones that come in with a work visa. There are several that come in. I said I was going to put together, I said I was going to do some clips where they, like, there's a lot of Filipinos. It's a lot of Asians that get busted all the time. But most, I can guess the drugs they're bringing in, what they're bringing in, how it starts, and everything. I've watched so many of them now. But the Filipinos usually get caught up in the work permits and stuff. They were promised this, and that. They were told to ask for so and so. In other words, they didn't expect to get stopped. They thought they would just come in, go through, show their papers, and it turns out a lot of them were promised fake jobs. They didn't even know the people they were arriving to, and it's kind of scary. And then others say they got like fake papers. They do bring in fake papers for like that they were in college, and they catch it. Like the paperwork is so unofficial. It's unreal. I don't even know how they even got away leaving. How they got out of the Philippines, I don't know because a lot of times they check all of that stuff. Even Stallone was denied in Sydney, huh? When he came in his he came in with the steroids is what they told him. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. Heidi, I went to Germany, came back, and my YouTube was down. Oh, I had no clue. I got it back, and I'm sorry about your husband's family. My prayers. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sperlin was saying he likes Chris and Cebu. There's a few of them that use their name with the word in Cebu back in the day. Says Jen, I can't find your channel. So, how badly is everything there from the cyclone and earthquake? How is the government responding? Well, from what I can see, being it's not in our area, and from what I'm hearing from other, people, Filipinos and expats, it looks like they're responding well. Now, you're going to get, just like in the United States, when there's a bad catastrophe, you're going to have some that'll say they got help and others they didn't. Certain people were isolated in provinces, as in they just weren't getting things out there. It depends on how the barangay worked with the government. The government's been sending things out and about. And George was, I seen where they gave like rice and like 6, 7 cans of sardines and coffees and drinks and stuff. But it seems to be the people are like, beings are so much social media. They're getting help from their viewers and they're bringing it down there. Businesses like Jollibee is taking stuff. But here, this other one just happened. So there's a brand new disaster and it's going to start spreading things thin. So it looks like they're doing a good job. And so that I can see, but you're going to get other people that are going to say it's not. It has not affected Angeles City, Mabalacat City, surrounding the airport for those that are coming in. That's all I can mostly speak on. Just looks like there are thousands off of YouTube channels. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it mostly through there. Philippines turned away a black DJ artist and it went viral. That was old. I think Sunshine covered that after it happened and it didn't really go viral. I remember her and she was from Africa and she wasn't that popular. I'm sorry, I had to look into it myself back then. But when he covered that story and another one, I think two people covered that. She was from South Africa and she was just basically a club DJ that might have had one song that wasn't viral. She wasn't a big deal even in her own country. She was acting a fool inside the airport, so that's why they got rid of her. I watched the video when she was acting out. It wasn't as viral as and it went away. Just I think it went in the news, like one or two newspapers put in she got turned away because she pulled the race card. It's because I'm black. So I'm just going to be honest about that. That's the first thing, and I'm just going to say how it is. I'm not. Well, I'm going to stay off that one. But you got my point. She said it was because she was black, and no, she was pulled over like anybody and asked to talk to him. And because they took her into a room, truth, she said it was because she was black and she was profiled, and it just went from there. And there was reasons. They had the right to ask her, but that's just it. See what happens? So then the Philippines gets nervous and then they slow down checking on people because they don't want no shit. But doesn't matter, you black, white, or this, you just pulled the race card. I can't stand anybody black, white, Chinese. It says there was another guy that pulled the race card on Border Patrol. He was like, "Oh, it's because I'm Asian and you're picking on me." And I'm like, "What the hell? You just got pulled over, dude. You was being shady. Shady sees no color." And on that note, guys, I'm going to thank you guys for joining the live stream because there's a few things going on today, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Recheck to make sure you guys are subscribed. And I appreciate you guys. And check out the latest if you guys didn't see the trike ride video. And I appreciate you guys. Bye bye. So it looks like George didn't make it back. I was kind of holding on. That's why I'm out a little longer. Usually I'm on probably close to 2 hours, but looks like he's not going to make it. So, all right. Bye, guys. And so, yeah, live stream Monday or Tuesday. So usually it's Tuesday, but we've got stuff scheduled on Tuesday. So either I'll do it early morning Tuesday or we'll do one on Monday. So, all right, guys. Talk to you guys later. And thank you guys for all of your support. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Bad Boy, and everybody.